This Hello, everyone. I'm here, you're here, we're here to have another fun time. We're having a fun stream. People are dropping lots of emojis already. Thank you, Kitty Tick. Hello, Gayfesh. Hello, Decoy Duck. Yes, we are live. Thank you so much, Jackie Sins, for just starting us off strong with a just $100 dono over there on the super chats. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you. And then also there was a $5 dono from Tinty7621. Thank you. I'm not sure when that was, but it was before stream started, so that's amazing, which means that I am going to flex very early in this stream, and then I'll have to update I'll change the stream goal to then, if we hit 200, I'll flex it again. You'll get a second time. Just got home after a car accident. Oh, goodness gracious. Alchemy, I hope that you're okay. Hope that the rest of your evening gets to be much more chill than that. Yes, we're here. Do I want my hair up or down today? I haven't decided. I put it up earlier because I was doing things. But, you know. If I had $100, I would buy you a monkey. Well, thank you. That's very thoughtful. You know, I'm going to leave the hair up for now, since flexing needs to happen anyway. Just gonna put my hair up and put it down or whatever with flexing muscles available. So today is a great day for us to be doing this because I just started lifting again today. If you are following the saga at this point, I have been trying to cut for a while, like trying to reduce my body fat percentage by a little bit. And it's real slow. Like, it takes a long time. Estrogen sucks in that regard. So not much you can do, but so I've decided that, okay, you know what? I'm going to switch to bulking again. I'm going to start bulking again, get my muscles all big, and then I'll cut again in a few months. But for a bit, I'm just going to like go back to weightlifting and focusing on getting a lot of protein. Ooh, muscle mommy with the hair down. So the goal is to get bigger on the upper body. And then I'll be working my lower body mostly to try to rehabilitate my back from an injury that I had a long time ago. So, yay. Muscles. Big arms. Big arms. Anyhoozle. Thank you for the donos. If you're just coming in, hit the like button. It always helps the show in an immediate fashion. Muscle mommy or muscle it. It's just, it doesn't flow. Muscle critter, I guess. Anyway, I don't mind muscle mommy. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, we love to see it. We love to see it, okay? I hope that you all are making progress on your goals as well. Yeah, the muscle dragon. Muscular dragon. Yeah. So, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. I know that a lot of people don't usually feel like, yes, I'm on the way to achieving my goals on a Wednesday. But, listen, it's a good time to take stock and go, how's the week going so far? How have things been? Is there anything that I'm struggling with or need to improve upon or anything along those lines? Just take a moment, check in, give yourself credit too. That's another important thing. When you're doing your check-ins, you also want to be like, I'm going to deliberately, mindfully give myself credit for all the good shit that I'm doing, you know? Making progress. Working towards the goals. What's up, mama? Hello. Padfoot Sam, hello as well. If you're in the YouTube chat and you didn't know, I have a website chat. That's what this is. This is not YouTube. Or no, sorry. It's not YouTube and it's not Twitch. My website. What's up, Callan? Hello. Muscle Sapien. Absolutely. So that's kind of what's going on with me mainly this week. Also, I have my tattoo appointment tomorrow, which I'm very enthused about. Gonna go get some new ink. I'll probably post pictures over on Patreon. So go become a $1 member over there if you want to. We doing self-affirmations. Did cardio today, 4.7 miles in 60 minutes on the elliptical. I'm gonna live forever. Yes, that's amazing. Yes, self-affirmations, or yeah, giving yourself credit for things that you know, progress that you're making on your goals. Just take a moment to appreciate it. What's up, Snoogan? Good name. Yeah, cardio. I'm finally shifting my focus off cardio. That's kind of what I was talking about, Mama, is I've started bulking again, and then I'll cut again in a few months. But for now, I'm just gonna focus on getting bigger. And this is something that we discuss in the chat at various points. I think it's okay to recognize and like to allow yourself to do exercise for the purpose of looking a certain way. Like, I'm like, I have aesthetic goals. It's cool that I'm getting healthier in the meantime, but that's like not my primary motivation. And I think that we are guilted often into needing to do things for the purpose of self-improvement, like health-wise. Like, there's a lot of, I think it's that cultural individuality thing where we try to assume that everything within your health is within your control. You know, when someone's profoundly disabled and someone suggests to them to do yoga or something, like, it's because that person does yoga, like the non-disabled person in this conversation does yoga, and they want to believe that doing yoga and the other healthy choices that they're making, they want to believe that that's going to help save them from ever becoming disabled like that person, you know? But that's not how it works. Like, your health is very much, it is to some extent within your control. You're gonna probably lower your likelihood of stroke and other cardiovascular events if you do cardio, but it's not gonna prevent you from dying from a heart attack or other cardiovascular event. Yeah, as someone with lung damage, explain to me how to do exercise that does not require using your lungs. Ooh, Jackie, thank you. Jackie bought one of the hoodies. Hoodies. You got that drip. Yeah. We've got all kinds of good stuff over there if y'all haven't checked it out. If y'all have any requests for stuff that you want on the store, always feel free to let me know. Anyone who tells you there is a way to avoid lower back pain is a dirty liar. I think the secret to avoiding lower back pain is to deliberately work out your lower back so that it's strong enough to withstand the stupid bullshit that you do all the time. You know? Yes. Links in the description if you'd like to buy a hoodie. It's very comfy. It's very warm. Sometimes I'll put it on a little ways before stream so that I can just enjoy it being cozy. Simply do not have a lower back. Yeah, exactly. Mama says the short version here is it's your body and you should do stuff for it for the reasons you want, even if that reason is to be more attractive. People who police others' bodies and the reasons they exercise are dumb. I don't want, you know, to overlook the fact that people can use exercise as a form of self-harm or as a component of an eating disorder. So it's not like always a good thing, you know, like any extreme, whether you're not exercising at all or if you're exercising way too much, either extreme is not good. You know, realistically, if you're lifting weights or even doing cardio, probably you don't need to, or maybe not even, like, maybe you shouldn't do more than 1 hour a day, because you just have diminishing returns after a while where it's not giving you the efficacy that you're going for, or it's like gonna make you too tired, or it's gonna consume so much energy that you're gonna end up binge eating later, you know? Like, you might as well stick somewhere in the middle. Yep. Frankly, it already feels like it's starting to be summertime, which sucks a little bit. It's like spring is in full effect, but it's super warm. So it feels a little summery. Mama likes lifting heavy things because muscles make the puppy girls sit and bark. That's, yeah, always good to encourage the puppy girls to behave. Make belly big to brace core, not small. You know, I'm never looking at my belly when I engage my core. Like, if I like lock in my core so that I can stabilize and do like a lift that I know is going to be heavy, I'm not looking at myself. I have no idea. Ugh. So, anyhoozle, exercise. Wow. You have to actually push yourself a little bit in order to achieve more. Crazy how that works. There's 46 viewers. There's only 31 likes. I would like to see those numbers pumped up just a little bit. If you would like to free help contribution to the show. Ooh! I've been harvesting chives every day from the garden for breakfast. I'm pretty sure it's this week that I get to finally go plant my garden, which is very good because literally one of my tomato plants, I'll post a picture on Patreon later. I'll try to post a picture of it. It's like the plant, like not including the pot part, is like Jesus. It's got to be like 18 inches tall now. It needs to get out. I need it out of my house. Like I need these tomato plants to be outside. It burns calories to like the stream. A minute number of calories. I do boxing. Boxing sounds so fun. I haven't done any kind of sparring in a long time. When I was a kid, I was in kind of a general mixed martial arts karate class. And so I did sparring with, you know, you're wearing body padding, you're wearing gloves, mostly not really going seriously at each other at the level that I was at least. Timerinia, hello, welcome in. We're chit-chatting. It's the chit-chatting part of the show. I don't even really have a specific idea of what we're talking about. The stream is called Mayday because it's Mayday. Hello, it's Beltane. It's the 1st of May. Oh gosh. So the as far as the potential topics for today, real quick. Okay, stream. Ooh, so one thing that I did, if you're a member of the Discord, or if you want to be a member of the Discord, there is a channel that has recently been renamed, and it's called Feed the Dragon. And what that is it's going to be a stream reaction segment on the show where you can put in there either pictures of like animals or pets, like cute pictures if you want, or you can post pictures or like videos, I guess. Videos are also acceptable as long as there's nothing copyrighted in them. And so either animals or food. Like maybe not cooking videos, but maybe cooking videos. I don't know. Whatever, your choice. TikToks, that kind of thing. And it's called Feed the Dragon. So either I will tell you, because I'm the dragon, that your offering was a delicious, tasty meal and thank you very much for submitting it, or I will burn it with fire and then ban you. No, I won't ban you. That's a joke. But yeah, so I've been trying to figure out ways for us to have more positive segments on the channel because it's just so much bad news all the time, right? So we're trying to make more good news more of the time. Where possible. And if that means having a stupid segment where I react to pictures of your pets, like that might just be what the segment is, right? Yeah, it's too bad I didn't stream yesterday because I can't sing "It's Gonna Be May." So glad you mentioned it's Beltane. Yeah, it's May Day. I've got, yeah, I don't know if you can see. It's a little bit like, I don't know. Do I need different color? Do we need whoa, like a blue? Anyway, you can see my maypole. Maybe it has ribbons around it and a fake flower on top. I could sing "This Is May." I'm really bad at remembering the actual opening verse to the song, but you've also always got the classic Jonathan Colton. Everybody know the refrain? Because it's the 1st of May, and outdoor fucking starts today. Yep. So bring your favorite lady, or at least your favorite lay. Yep. I put it on Discord earlier, yeah. We have fun. It's springtime. I mean, literally, like, it's funny that that Jonathan Colton has that song and it's the 1st of May because, like, also Beltane, the holiday, which is pagan, is all about, like, celebrating the fact that it's fertile season, the fertile ground. You get to plant soon, or maybe you already can plant depending on how far south you live, and all the animals are in mating season. Like, it's very much a time. It's like Valentine's Day if paganism had a Valentine's Day. Pretty much. That's what Beltane is about. The people have said that the maypole represents like a phallus, and that this like dance thing that we do is kind of a fertility ritual in a certain way. I don't actually know if that's well substantiated. It kind of feels like a lot of neo-pagan beliefs are kind of invented or sort of very roughly based on like a guess of what people may have done in the past. I'm willing to accept that parts of the religion that I ascribe to are a little bit inventive, shall we say. I feel like we say everything is a phallic symbol. I mean, a lot of things have a phallic nature to them. I mean, it's hard to ignore. Yonic. I've started to see a lot more yonic imagery. Like, this clearly looks like a vulva. In addition to dongs everywhere, you've also got vulvas everywhere. Listen, COVID is still out there rampant, so outdoor fucking, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best options. If you're gonna hook up right now. Oh. Yeah, there's just genitals everywhere. Genitals everywhere. You can't escape them. Has there been any good news? That's the question. In addition to the Feed the Dragon chat. Oh yeah, so there was good news out of Kansas, which is where I live, that this was just a trans youth ban, right? Like a youth ban on trans care. They were trying to get rid of gender affirming care, and the governor vetoed it because she has consistently vetoed those kind of laws. And then I guess by one vote, there wasn't a majority that could override her veto, which is a little spooky that it was that narrow, but So that's one good news that we could talk about later. Excuse me. And then... what other news? Oh, so we have two good newses. The Fourth Circuit has determined that gender identity is actually a protected characteristic, which is good news. Another article that Violet submitted in the stream recommendations channel on the Discord was a Christian lawmaker saying that teachers should be allowed to physically punish their students, like to hit them, basically. Oh, that's the dumbest news I've heard today. Can you tell I've been avoiding Twitter? This is the dumbest news I've heard today. Interesting. Born in Kansas, live in Missouri. Jackie, if you're trans, I hope you already changed your birth certificate. It's a bummer. Taking away people's ability to change their birth certificate. Yeah, as long as the Supreme Court just ignores some of these pro-trans rulings, we'll be okay. I don't really like the Friendly Atheist, though, so I am not going to read an article from him. So if there's a different article, maybe... what was the name of that guy? Hold on. Open the tab. Wino like Friendly Atheist. I don't think that his coverage is always responsible. Like, who is Friendly Atheist? His name is Hemant Mehta, but yeah, the Friendly Atheist is the website. State Rep Jim Olson. Okay. Jim Olson comments on corporal punishment. Is this super old news? I'm seeing a lot of stuff from 2023. It's kind of old news. Hi, Atreyu. Welcome in. Thanks for popping in to say hi, even if you can't stay. Still appreciate you liking. Ooh. Okay, yeah, I don't think this is very fresh news anyway. Okay, so Kansas, good news. Fourth Circuit, good news. Wow. It's not very often that we get to just go, hey, the news is good. Yeah, remember to corporally punish that like button. I opened a website and was jump scared by Luxander. How are you jump scared if you clicked on the website? That's not my fault. Banger thumbnail. Thank you to EB the Purple for the thumbnail. Okay. There is, like, a lot going on at Columbia as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to cover that again today or leave it for a different time. Might leave it for a different time for now. We'll see. Where did Twitter go? Come back, Twitter. I need to know if there's anything for me to cover today. Oh, the facial expression from the video today? The thumbnail from the video today? Day May, indeed. But yeah, so there's so much going on at Columbia, but I think I might sit on it and wait for there to be more specific developments. So many different encampments, though, like across the entire planet. That's kind of dominating my Twitter existence right now, honestly. Which, to be fair, like, I think that the Palestine issue is so egregious that it's not necessarily a bad thing that I'm seeing so much about it all the time. But it is like, that's the main thing going on. Oh, I'm itchy. I keep hearing that university administrations are communist anti-Americans, but here they are breaking up protest encampments. Curious. Like, supposedly these campuses are places where they're indoctrinating the youth into believing these liberal ideas. And then meanwhile, yeah, the powers that be on these university campuses are, for the most part, doing crappy things like suspending students, expelling students, kicking them out of housing, locking down the entire campus, like, so that research can't continue, even on unrelated parts of the campus. It's just wild. Teachers getting beat up and arrested for supporting their students. Girl. Yeah, let's get in the counterterrorism unit again. Ugh, gosh. Someone commented last time that we don't do reaction stuff very often on this channel, and that's true. I'm like wondering if I should start doing more reactions. I don't know what to, though. If I'm reacting to a big enough channel, they're gonna claim my content, you know? Counterterrorism is a good name. They counter things with terrorism. Can't disagree with you there. Why are we beating up college students for simply occupying a space? That's basically, like, if you boil it all the way down, that's what's happening. Hail, hydrate, drink more water. These institutions are businesses, though, so not surprising. Ultimately, that is the problem. It's a money-making institution. I mean, everybody's already paid for the semester, though. Like, I don't really see what the profit incentive is on making, like, shutting down the whole campus, for example. Like, locking people out of the dining hall. Like, they could be still making money in the dining hall. They're actually making decisions that are contrary to the goal of making money by resisting the protesters. Also, a lot of these spaces are the designated protest areas on campus. The most milquetoast resistance is too much for these people. Yeah, that's a thing. You know, these are, in many places, the designated free speech zones on the campus where you are literally supposed to be. Like, you ever see those videos of pastors and very zealous religious people on college campuses, like, shouting at people walking by? They're allowed to do that because that's a free speech zone, and campus police will enforce their right to be fucking annoying in those spaces. So they changed the rules on protesting in the quad the day before the protest. Yeah, they can just arbitrarily say, oh, well, we've decided that you don't have the right to free speech here anymore. Like, this is not a free speech zone. You're not allowed to gather and assemble here. You gotta remember, guys, part of the First Amendment is the right to assemble. Like, letting people protest and be in public spaces. But yes, because it's a private institution, they're gonna just change the rules last minute and say, no, actually, you're not allowed to hold protests here. Okay, well, what the hell is the point of the courtyard then? Like, what was it here for in the first place? They could be afraid of big donors holding back if they see universities not towing their line. Well, then I guess they'll just have to jack up prices on their students again. I can see why that would be a reason. Yeah, truly, they will snipe you for having opinions. They will train sniper scopes on you. I mean, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, the conflict of interest fundamentally comes in. The protesters want these, again, money-making institutions to divest from any interests that they have with Israel, with the state of Israel. And of course, the universities are not interested in ending that relationship. Yeah, Mama points out that some of the powers that be here are forgetting that civil disobedience and protest is like the compromise position we've come to, and that inevitably, if you ignore peaceful resistance, just like Dr. King said, like, a riot is the language of the unheard. People start breaking shit and setting shit on fire when their voices are otherwise being heard, when their votes are being suppressed, when their interests are not being represented. So yeah, we're doing the most milquetoast version of, okay, we're protesting, okay, we're occupying a space, we're occupying a building, you know, we're gonna shout you down while you're in the middle of giving a talk. Like, this is, and it's crazy how people keep equating this to January 6th. I'm enjoying the conversation here, by the way. This is not going to be a segment, but I'm glad that we're just kind of talking about it extemporaneously. My video that I uploaded today was complaining about how videos about Israel and Columbia University and stuff don't get very much traction on YouTube, so I'm content to just talk about it on the stream for now. And maybe next week I'll make another actual video about it. But, you know, not only... So the protesters themselves are nonviolent, but there are counter-protesters coming in. Like, I actually think... And so we might cover this in a segment again later, but there's a bunch of examples here with a bunch of outside agitators, a bunch of pro-Israel folks coming in and, like, instigating violence against one of these student encampments, basically, at UCLA. So in California. And of course, the police are just, like, sitting on their hands. What are they doing? These videos are terrifying. Yeah, I'm not planning on playing them right now. I haven't watched them yet, so I could not vet them for you. Like, I wasn't particularly planning on covering that today, so I didn't check the footage first. But yeah, these, like, it always goes this way. There was another one as well. Maybe I didn't retweet this one. Okay, let me look for a second. Let me see if I can find the one I was looking for. There was a guy who had, like, sprayed an unknown chemical at some protesters, and he was being calmly arrested. Just gonna mute this for a second as I watch. Okay, so this is interesting. Again, I'm not going to turn on the sound, but this dude has, like... This is kind of the sort of bottle you would see people, like, spraying for pests with. And he's just spraying some kind of fluid everywhere. That's quite interesting. And I then saw a picture or footage of they're just calmly arresting a guy who was spraying a chemical agent all over this encampment area. Why? What? I mean, it's because they agree with him doing that. That's why. Like, the videos of those Zionists attacking the pro-Palestine side, the police let that happen because, of course, at the end of the day, pesticides. But like, why was there was like a group of counter-protesters like protecting him. They were like moving with him and shielding him. Yeah, true. In the heart of California. Notice how Democrats can protest about basically anything and they get swatted. But then you have fascists throw Hail Hitler and props for murder to the infidels and all is fine. Yeah, exactly. Because, again, the state is aligned with the views. Like, I say the state, and I mean, like, at least the police departments themselves. If it doesn't go more rotten than that. But we know that police form gangs and they get tattoos when they get their first kill and all kinds of crazy shit like that. So the police, at the very minimum, are allowing white supremacist marches. They're allowing neo-Nazi salutes. Like, they're allowing the counter-protesters to run in and, like, beat the hell out of... they're like, allowing Zionists to beat the hell out of pro-Palestine people. Because... their opinion is like, oh, well, fuck these kids and their stupid beliefs. And, oh, of course, they're liberals who believe in they're anti-Semites who don't think that Israel should exist, like, blah, blah, blah. And I guess that justifies violence against them. It justifies, like, expelling them from school and locking them out of the cafeteria. Like... I have also seen video of pro-Israel counter-protesters firing fireworks at and over the walls set up by the encampments. They literally could set the walls or a tent on fire. Yeah, it's crazy out there. Like, it's like, what is going on? But, like, again, I think it's just going to happen with increasing frequency that there are these widespread protests. I mean, it's cool that it's happening globally with this particular issue. Of course, the protests back in 2020 were more centered on... it was more of an American thing. It was more of like... I don't actually know. Were there solidarity protests globally with regards to Black Lives Matter? I cannot remember. I was so focused on what was happening here in the US at that time. But... it would be... there were some, especially in other Western countries. I mean, yeah, other countries that are still heavily impacted by anti-Black racism probably also got on board. So, I'm just going to speak about America specifically. I think that protests like these are just, at some point, going to be fairly ubiquitous. Or they're going to happen with increasing frequency until they are basically just always happening to some degree, until that reaches a boiling point where, like, we kind of live in an occupied nation. Like, we're kind of at war. And, you know, you have to be super careful what you do as a protester, especially, you know, if you're protesting in a way that is liberal or democratic and not, like, white supremacist, then you... are basically gonna have to always deal with that hostility. Hold on. No. That feeling when you think you have to burp, but you're not sure. Ah, there it is. Okay, perfect. And then I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so there's always gonna be this hostility, specifically from the police. So... they will take any opportunity to disable you, basically. Like, the police don't care. They have qualified immunity. They could kill you, and it wouldn't make a difference. So, of course, in the process of arresting you, they're not going to care if they hurt you. They're not going to care if they break something that's going to require you to have like tens of thousands of dollars worth of surgery. They don't care if you're never able to work again. If you're a photographer, they will point a rubber bullet at your eye. So, like, you have to be super careful, obviously, at these protests. But I do think if they continue the way that they're going, there is going to be some inevitable point where there is retaliatory violence. Because to be clear, these are police riots. When the police instigate violence against peaceful protesters, if they start pushing you and roughing you up, or if they drag you out of the crowd for like benign, like you're not doing anything and they just pull you out and start arresting you and throw you to the ground, like that's them starting the violence, right? And so it's just like, if you keep this up, at a certain point, retaliatory violence just becomes inevitable. Even if it only happens once, like it's going to happen. I think that it's going to spiral out of control pretty quickly after that, though, you know? Or like the cops are going to shoot someone like they did at Kent State, and that's going to instigate some kind of pretty significant retaliatory violence. So, yeah, I just am not super optimistic about the direction that whole thing is going. I'm not a protester. I can't tolerate heat. I just, for a lot of reasons, I'm not going to be out there. That's not my job. I'm a home support position, and so I don't really worry so much about like, oh, what would I do or what should I do? I'm going to stay out of it. That's what I'm going to do. Oh man, I read, this is totally unrelated. I read that actually there were a couple of tornadoes over the last couple of days here in the Midwest. There was a tornado, and that means like it actually touched the ground. If it's in the air but doesn't touch the ground, then it's just a funnel cloud. But there were tornado in Kansas, and there was one in Oklahoma as well. The one in Kansas, actually, there was one fatality as a result, which I thought was kind of crazy, because it feels like because I grew up here, tornadoes, I guess you think of them as like, yeah, of course they cause a lot of property damage, but for the most part, like not a huge amount of casualties. Like floods tend to be associated with a higher degree of casualties, I think. So, but yeah, tornadoes. Dave Rubin said that COVID is a plot by jihadists to get the public used to people wearing masks at these protests. True. Oh, Dave. So silly, Dave. Also, Dave Rubin has decided the C slur is his favorite word now. Listen, I enjoy using the C word when it's applicable. You can't drop it all the time as an American, but every once in a while, it's like exactly the right. I'll say see you next Tuesday. Being a real see you next Tuesday. It's crazy how little I think about Dave Rubin. I just forget that he exists most of the time. This is the most anyone's thought about him in a long time, to be honest. I feel bad for whoever he's married to. That poor guy. How do you deal with this? I remember him because his subreddit is very anti-Ruben. That's funny. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I don't think he is relevant anymore. He tried to get in with the conservatives, and then they made it very clear that they don't respect him. And so he doesn't really have the same kind of notoriety in right-wing circles. Wasn't he like patient zero of the TOIT gas leak? I don't know. Yeah, he's very much the awkward kid who tries to join the school bullies in order to avoid being bullied. And then didn't Candace Owens just get fired from the Daily Beast or Daily Wire or whatever? It's the Daily Wire. I don't know why Daily Beast happened in my brain. That's a different publication. So it's so funny. These minority pick-me's just facing the brutal reality that the conservatives that they try to kiss up to do not care about them at all. Like, oh yeah, we'll humor you for a little while because it's convenient to be able to point to you and say, oh look, a black person agrees with us, or oh look, a gay person agrees with us. But boy howdy, they still disdain you. Oh, they still hate you. So why? Why would you try? How long till Blair White figures that out? Blair at least is hot, and so she's kind of a fetish object to them, but they don't take her seriously. They don't care about what she says. They don't like her. They just fetishize her. They're just like, okay, well, I can think about you when I, you know. But I don't, oh, just don't worry your pretty little degenerate head. I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say. Like, listen, I don't think Blair is hot, but she ticks a lot of the boxes of conventional attractiveness. She has big tits. She has a nice figure. And she has the allure of the forbidden fruit, you know? Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the Kristi Noem thing, but I did see news about it. Yeah, it's mostly the conservative taboo fetish. That's mostly what it is. Oh, goodness. I like my life a lot better when I don't think about conservatives very much. Blair would be hot if she wasn't such a piece of shit. Yeah, I'm telling you, it does something to people. When you're a spiteful asshole, it changes you. Mm. Goodness gracious. So basically, I think for actual news segments, we only really have 2 segments. So we can get around to that whenever we want. But yeah, there's like Kansas vetoed and sustained the veto of an anti-trans bill. And then Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals says that gender identity is a protected class. Oh, specifically the thing about that is that it specifies that if you have Medicaid bans on trans care, that is unconstitutional. Like that, which is great because I don't think that... So Florida was the place that I was mainly aware had done that, where they just said, we're just deciding that Medicaid is not going to cover trans healthcare, point blank, period. But now this applies to policies in North Carolina and West Virginia that was preventing Medicaid from covering gender-affirming care. So the Fourth Circuit says that's obviously discriminatory. Yeah, so many people rely on Medicaid. If you're poor enough that you're on Medicaid, like you probably can't afford medicine off of the Medicaid coverage. Maybe if you're on estrogen, because estrogen, you can get the pills really generic for like $10 sometimes. But if you're on testosterone, or if you're taking estrogen injections, or you're on gel or anything like that, like that's a very big deal. I'm with you on not thinking about cons too much anymore. It's been tiring and largely useless to me lately. Listen, I appreciate people like Dead Domain for making these call out videos. She dives deep into the Republican, what was it called? CPAC, the CPAC thing. And, they dive deep on, yeah, I said she and I realized it, and then I was like, I'll correct it in the next sentence. They did the takedown of the Satanic Church recently, Satanic Temple. So I appreciate that there are people out there who are doing the conservative takedowns. It's just not really my bag anymore. Yeah, my prescriptions went from like $200 to down to $3 after Medicaid. Literally saved my life. Thankfully, you can still get other healthcare on Medicaid, just not trans healthcare. Ugh. It does take a lot of effort to debunk someone's argument. Because it usually takes like at least twice as much time to debunk. Like it can be easy. It can be like easier rhetorically for the framing device if you refer to a person's argument to then build your own argument. But you don't necessarily like. I think it's good to kind of do a little bit of both probably, but your ideas sometimes are stronger if you just assert your ideas, and then like maybe in the process of introducing it, you can be like, this idea stands in contrast to some other ones. Ben Shapiro has built an entire media empire on the Gish Gallop. You just gotta keep saying things. Just keep saying stuff. Forever. And then your opponent can't possibly address all of the issues all at once. Sometimes I yawn a lot. I feel like I was feeling totally normal, and then I started the stream, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna yawn a lot now. Okay, thanks. Hey, what's it like to have health insurance? I haven't had health insurance in years. I don't even know how to go about, like, getting myself health insurance as a self-employed person. I really don't think I could afford it at this point. That would be wild. Imagine if debates had a limit on how many claims you can make in a segment rather than just time. I'd never really considered that as a debate constraint. Like, okay, you may present one point. Okay, you may present a counterpoint to that point. And then that's the end of that. And then next person's claim, That's a very interesting concept. But it's almost impossible to wrangle people. Get on that poverty grind set, then boom, healthcare. Yeah. I actually, in Kansas, we don't have expanded Medicaid. So even if I were single and really low income, I would still not qualify for Medicaid. Because fuck you, that's why. I remember Natalie Wynn saying she had to set herself up as a company just to get herself health insurance. Yes, I'm sure that I would need to do all that crazy shit. F. Hello, hyperbolic. I have a 5-year-old. I don't know how much that affects my situation. Yeah, if you have a kid, you can usually get state health care, and I think it will also apply to the parents. But yeah, not just for disabled. Like, if I could prove the whole I have a disability thing, which I don't think I can, like not to the standard that the state sets anyway. Uh if I had like a verifiable disability, then I would get Medicaid. Like if I was on Social Security, sure. But nope, can't get it. It's that fun gap where it's like your situation isn't bad enough for help, but your situation is not good enough for you to be able to afford health care. Darth Gently. Yeah, it's just hard to restrict what kind of arguments people are going to make in a debate as well. Like, unless you're willing to just cut off people's microphones constantly, I think it's going to be hard to prevent specifically, no making a straw man argument or no gish galloping. Like, I don't know that there's a practical way to do that. Yeah, the Americatch 22. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Taxes are fucking crazy. Everybody enjoying tax season being over? Hey, if you had a return this year, consider sending your boy $5. It's appreciated. I am saving up to move across the country. I get myself one nice thing every once in a while. And right for my I was like, for my birthday, I'm gonna do the tattoo thing. So I'm doing the tattoo tomorrow. It's probably gonna be grand total less than $200. I'm like, okay, I'm allowed to have a nice thing. Kitty Tick, hello, welcome in. I had energy assistants tell me today that I can get faster help if I get my electricity shut off first and then send them proof of that. Why? It's all so reactionary. Yeah, so now I have to actually call the electric company or contact them to have them send me a disconnect notice. God, I'm getting an Ouroboros tattoo from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I'll post pictures on the Patreon. I was gonna give you my whole refund, but then you reminded me that I could have a tattoo instead. You could have a whole tattoo instead. I haven't gotten a new one in like 2 or 3 years, and I'm just gonna get it, and then it'll be over with, and I won't have to keep thinking about it as like ooh, I plan on doing that someday. I'm thinking about doing that someday. Ooh, and I've never gotten a tattoo on my lower body, so I think that's gonna be kind of interesting. Like, this one's gonna be a leg tattoo, and I've never gotten a leg tattoo. I've only gotten tattoos in like fairly painful locations. Like, it's well known that the wrist is a painful place. It's well known that this skin, like on your inner arm here, is a painful place. It's well known that the collarbone is painful. And then I have one on my upper back. So, like, the one on my upper back was not too bad. I think means testing social welfare programs is never justified. All it does is keep help from people who need it. I mean, yeah, again, the intended goal is to help as few people as possible, like to like spend as little money as possible helping people so that they can reserve more money for cops and anti-homeless architecture and doing a shitty job patching the potholes, you know? Like, oh, and then they send the majority of it to fucking Israel. They don't, actually, obviously. I'm just, like, that's shorthand for, like, the military spending. I did a thigh tat to commemorate my start of transition. I still love to see it. Yes, this is the beginning of me getting thigh tattoos. I have, like, one on each arm. I have one on the front. I have one on the back of my torso. So this is my first leg one. Ooh, it's gonna be so good. I'm excited. I think it's gonna hurt like a bee, but that's alright. I need to finish my side piece so bad. It's been 10 years since I actually added any ink. I want tattoos, but they're so expensive. I know. $100 minimum at a lot of shops. And then I live in the Midwest, so if you live in California, there's probably like $200 or $300 shop minimums and nonsense. Yeah, let's not forget putting more lanes on existing roads. Because just one more lane, bro. Just one more lane. I promise this will solve the fucking traffic problem. Just one more lane, bro. $100 minimum is like 3 weeks of food. Listen. I don't disagree. Like, I don't buy myself nice things. I'm, like, saving up. Like, when I get Christmas money, I usually hold on to that for a long time. So, I deserve a small thing that I want. It's so hard to feel that way, though. And I'm sure that is the case even for people who don't, you know, like, part of my income is, like, donations. Like, even though there's that additional thing of, like, oh, I better be using my money wisely because people are giving it to me as opposed to, like, I'm being paid by a corporation. But I think just in general, also, that many people feel like, oh, if I have a couple extra $100, I need to just hold on to it. And I usually do feel that way. And, you know, if I do really well next month as well, you know, merch coming in, like, that's extra passive income, which is amazing. Because I usually forget, it's not part of my mental calculation yet, that, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a payout from the merch website. So if I have another good month next month, I'm not gonna get another tattoo. I'm gonna keep that money. I would really like to get a sleeve, but I don't want to start it without knowing I can finish it with the same artist. Yeah, I would not want to start something now that I was like, this is going to need to be worked on multiple times, because I'm probably not going to keep seeing, like, the tattoo that I'm getting, I realize it might require 2 sessions, depending on, I don't know how tattoos work, you know, so, like, I need to ask the person doing it. So maybe I might go back a second time this year just to finish it as far as shading and stuff goes, but I might not ever go back there again. So I'm not going to try to, like, oh, let me start a project with this artist and then I'm going to go somewhere else. What's up, Corpse Candy? So many green names today. We love to see it. Hey! Thank you much, Himjack, for the $33 dono. They said 1 week of food. If I'm talking about just myself, I guess it's usually like, I mean, it's probably more than $50 per week. But I do things like I'll get myself the nice kind of expensive pickles. And, like, occasionally, like, we eat red meat. Like, I'll get, like, roast sometimes, which is kind of expensive as far as meat goes. You know, I could be eating tofu all the time, but that's not what we do. Yeah, food be expensive. Yeah, if it's 100 for 3 weeks, that's basically just rice and pasta and simple things that you can make a lot of at once. Hey! I didn't intend to make you donate more. But thank you for another 27, saying the rest of the 1 week of food for pickles. Yeah, thank you. I actually did, for the first time in a long time, I got myself the Clausen brand pickles. It was delicious. 155. I normally get the store-bought, like the store brand version of that same type of pickle. Is your merch store down? It shouldn't be. Not that I know of. I don't believe it is. Is there some kind of issue with... Oh, it's working. As far as I can tell. What is it called when I can still taste food, but it no longer brings me joy? I think that's called anhedonia. True, $27 worth of pickles. Just going at it. Just absolutely going at it. I have spent many a day on the Blazing Saddles bean-only diet. I'm not a beans-only kind of person. It says this site can't be reached for me. I don't know. It should be accessible to people in Europe. That's so strange. I don't know what I could possibly do to solve that. Can you go to other fourth wall websites? Like... Philip DeFranco's merch store is through fourth wall. I need to experiment more with beans. Gotta make protein a bigger chunk of my diet. I did have the realization that I probably wasn't eating enough protein while I was doing cardio all the time. Ty Marini lives in Europe and can see the website. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I was focused more on cardio and not on building muscle, so I wasn't really thinking about protein that much. But I probably should have been eating more protein, and I'm definitely going to start eating more protein now because I'm bulking again. I found a list earlier. 39 high-protein foods was this listicle from Medical News Today, okay? And, it's like not only the obvious ones, like no shit, I know salmon has a lot of flippin' protein in it, but also, and then yeah, obviously cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, but it also tells you what vegetables are high in protein. Like not only beans, but oh look at that, broccoli is high in protein apparently. Cauliflower, Chinese cabbage, oats are pretty high in protein, although oat milk has less protein in it than regular milk. But I'm going to switch to oat milk because of bird flu. Obviously tempeh, because it's made with soy spirulina powder, hemp seeds, sun-dried tomatoes specifically apparently have a lot of a lot of protein, which is weird. Guava, artichokes, peas, chickpeas, quinoa, almonds. I don't eat almonds because they're bad for the environment. Lentils, pumpkin seeds, avocado, pistachios, chia seeds, asparagus. I love asparagus. Brussels sprouts. I also love Brussels sprouts. Spelt, which is a kind of wheat. And then teff, which is also a kind of grass that's used to make flour. Very convenient to know. So when I'm getting my vegetables, I can also get more protein. That fuel and amino acids are actually pretty important to life and found in most living things. Well, it's not about like whether it's in most things, but it's like, is this pretty high in protein, or does it have a couple of different proteins? Because if you're relying on vegan sources of protein, then obviously you need to get like a bunch of different kinds of food because you're trying to piece together complete protein chains. So yeah, it's like, okay, if I eat chicken, but then I also cook Brussels sprouts, then like bing bang boom, that's a extra protein boost meal because I'll get complete proteins from the meat and then additional supplemental proteins. And then earlier in the day, if I drank oat milk and I ate some guacamole, then cool, like it'll piece together by the end of the day into like more protein than I would have gotten if I had basically my primary meal of the day was just chicken. And then otherwise I like snacked. Yeah, roast them together. I do that sometimes. Yeah, I always fry off the chicken first. We're doing food now. Oops. You fry off the chicken first and brown it, and then you put it in the oven. But yes, when you put it in the oven, since it takes approximately the same amount of time to roast frozen Brussels sprouts and to cook chicken breast, especially if you're like me and you brine the chicken first so it's super moist. Boy howdy, chicken breast is delicious. And then yeah, you have, that's 2 parts of your meal right there, bing bang boom. And then you could do another thing on the stovetop like mashed potatoes while you're cooking the stuff in the oven. That's a meal, baby. Yeah, just sitting there with a tub of whey powder, eating it in handfuls. That's actually a thing that some people do, some workout people do. It's called, I think it's just called a dry shot or something like that. I can't remember what it's called exactly. But there is like a thing that people do online at least, where they take the scoop of protein powder and they just eat it. Yeah, it sounds awful. And they like just use their moisture from their mouth to like eat it, I guess. It's like the cinnamon challenge a bit. Speaking of whey powder, do any of you know if there is any such thing as like powdered like bone broth that I could get? Because I'm thinking about in the mornings, I want to get like some salt in the mornings, right? And there kind of isn't a delicious way to do that, except that, oh, I have a kettle. So if I put on the electric kettle and I have boiling water within a couple minutes, I could just pour that into like a powdered chicken broth or powdered bone broth. And then bang, there's my salt in the morning. I'm going to look at the grocery store. Cube and hot water. Yeah, I get like, I have like bouillon, I have like the better than bouillon stuff. So for chicken broth purpose, like I could technically already do a chicken broth, but I figured if I'm going to do it, I might as well do a bone broth. Because bone broth is associated with positive health outcomes. Yeah, just bouillon cube. Get like 200% the daily salt right at the start of the day. Gotta head down to the nearest ossuary with your pestle and mortar. Listen. I'm not a huge fan of whey protein. Oh, OXO is like powdered beef stock. Oh, I guess I was thinking more chicken stock, but there is a brand of... Yeah, powdered beef stock. Oh, yeah, like I assumed that you meant like a bouillon cube. I would love a good turkey stock if they had it. Yes. Gravy cube. Just drink thick gravy in the morning. That sounds like a great way to start my day. Just a real goopy, thick, instant gravy in the morning. Oh no. It's terrible. Just become a deer and lick the salt cube. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get one of those pink Himalayan salt lamps, and I'll just have a little salt lick. Bovril? I don't think that's already been mentioned, no. Stock cubes and instant noodles saved my intersex ass with needing high salt intake as a teenager. Put gravy on your eggs and grits. Still not possible to open their page. Weird. That's so strange. I did make biscuits and gravy recently, and it was pretty yummy. But that was like a white sausage gravy. I was thinking of more like a brown gravy or a chicken-based gravy. Excuse me. Bovril is basically distilled cow tea. Victorians loved it, and I think they still make it. What? It's a thick and salty meat extract paste, similar to a yeast extract, developed in the 1870s, sold in a distinctive bulbous jar and as cubes and granules. High-protein beef paste. Listen, if it's high-protein as well, then if it's high-protein and salty, then that's, like, exactly perfect, exactly what I need before I go to the gym in the morning. Like, that's exactly what I need. It sounds like Vegemite, but beef. Yeah, because Vegemite is like a yeast extract, isn't it? They had adverts with crying cows. That's crazy. But it kind of seems like it would be delicious. Can you just mix that with water and drink it? Is that safe? I wish biscuits and gravy was a thing where I live. I had it twice and it was so fucking good. Dear God. Listen, sometimes you just gotta make it. You can make it with any pork sausage that you want, although you can specifically do it with a breakfast sausage. Hope, like, can you buy those, like, cans of biscuits? Like the fluffy, thick biscuits? I mean, you can make them from scratch if you want to make biscuits from scratch. I did not make the biscuits from scratch. Bovril, alas, my poor brother, the tear, he's crying. See his sad face? He's so sad. My poor brother. What a weird advert. It looks really old, though. I don't even think it's supposed to stop storming in the Midwest for a couple of days. I'm pretty sure it's gonna still be thunderstorms and tornado watches. Yeah, you gotta squeeze every last drop of juice out. I have a really good biscuit recipe. It's more like an Irish tea biscuit than an American one, but it would slap hard still. Listen, if you make the sausage gravy, you cook the sausage, okay? And then you leave it in the pan. I mean, you can remove it if you want. I don't know why you would do that. But then you have a bunch of fat in the pan, okay? Look at all that. You got a bunch of fat in there. And then you just put, like, heavy cream and flippin' flour in there. I would say put the flour first. And just start cooking up your roux. And then, heavy cream. That's the whole thing. You're just making a roux. That's the whole sauce, is a roux with heavy cream in it. There might be some storms here tonight, electricity and everything. What happens when you put a cow in a hydraulic press? Bovril. Sounds like a GMM segment. Yes, it does. Don't splash roux on yourself. It does not feel so good. I had a bunch of sesame oil pop on me the other night. What kind of sausage best flavor-wise? Deadass doing this now, I need it. In America, we would like a breakfast sausage, but literally any pork sausage that you think would be good. It doesn't need to be a breakfast sausage. Third-degree roux burns. Yeah, it'll stick to you. That's the problem. We got some crazy flash rain here earlier. All day it was foreboding rain clouds, and then the wrath of Poseidon for 5 minutes, then back to normal. Yeah, there were tornado warnings for real. I mean, of course there were. We had an actual tornado touchdown in Kansas, so there were a couple of counties that had tornado warnings. It's going down tonight. I'm so excited for you, Eric. I'm so excited that you get to have biscuits and gravy tonight. So interestingly, Lord Byron, there is actually no evidence that that hot oil was used as a war thing. They would boil water and throw it down, but there, like, oil was such a, it's very labor intensive to make it, and then you're not going to waste it on pouring it on your enemies when you have way more plentiful water available. I learned that recently. But it is a fun concept. In a siege, you'd probably want to keep a hold of your oil so that you can fatten up your food a bit. I've been learning all kinds of random stuff lately. I'm like, medieval history, survival stuff. I'm Googling, like, how to hunt rabbit. Like, to a lesser extent, how to hunt deer. Haven't looked at that as much, but... Did they boil people in oil as a punishment? Again, why would you waste the oil? I don't know if they boiled people, period, but I don't think they would do it in oil. Be careful when eating too much bunnies. Listen, bunnies are part of a complete diet. They're part of a complete diet. They don't have enough fat on them. In Germany, it's said that they used pitch. Yeah, pitch, but pitch is also, it's an adhesive, right? Or a sealant for wood. Why would you waste it? Some heretics famously in Italy got boiled in oil, perhaps. Some places did the boil in oil thing. Okay. You could reuse the people boiling oil. Yeah, just reuse the same pot of oil to boil more people. There's hardly any meat on the rabbits. Well, it depends on what time of year you're hunting them. You know? Have you heard of rabbit starvation, also known as protein poisoning? No, I have never heard of that. But I do know that they, like, you don't want to eat only rabbit meat. Yeah, it'll just get more people flavored with every boil. I don't think it's exactly starvation if they're eating too much rabbit meat, but it is like they're not getting enough fat. So you have to go in and, you know, eat chicken once in a while, because chicken's fairly fatty. Duke says, I forgot I was watching. Did you have us muted? Yeah, it's a variation of malnutrition. So yeah, you do gotta get fat sources. Eat duck once in a while. True. Because duck's quite fatty. I'm very excited about the potential of being able to hunt this summer. It's gonna be good. I gotta take the hunting class. And Decoy Duck is out here in support of not eating ducks. I've never had it. I could very much go to the store and get a whole duck. Like, I could definitely do that. I have no idea if I like duck, though, so I don't know if I'm willing to go balls deep like that. Rabbit season is year-round. Also quail. duck is very greasy. It gets old fast. That's why you gotta only do it every once in a while, I suppose. We surpassed 69 likes and I wasn't even paying attention. Now, we're at 73 likes. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes. I'm gonna have to get more water soon. That'll be my excuse to step around and, like, take a quick little break. Do you have a gun, or are you fashioning spears in the field like Rambo? I have a bow. My partner got me a bow for my birthday, and I think I am accurate enough that at this point, after, like, about a month of shooting a couple of times a week, I am pretty sure that I could kill a rabbit at about 10 yards. Like, I'm pretty sure that I could aim accurately enough to hit a rabbit at 10 yards. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun. But yeah, you have to do the whole hunting class and then pay for a license as well. You mentioning that led me to get my wife a bow as well. Hell yeah, Lord Byron. Out here being 10 out of 10 husband material. It's such a good gift. Like, I am giving you the gift of a deadly weapon. Have you considered a 410 shotgun? No, I do not have any intention of hunting with a gun. That sounds fucking boring. All respect due to people who do it. That does not sound like it's gonna work for me. I would much rather hunt with a bow. Do you have a moving target? If not, try shooting a sitting target while you move. That's a good idea. And I will have to consider it. Because, yeah, mostly I've been target shooting. And, like, a rabbit, you know, if it's running, I don't think I'm going to be able to hit it no matter how... It's going to be going too fast. But if it's, you know, they tend to be kind of stationary and hope that you don't see them. It's an Asiatic recurve bow for horseback. Ooh! That's gotta be a pretty short bow. My bow is, like, almost as tall as I am. Like, when it's unstrung, it's, like, at the face range. And then you string it, and it pulls it down a little bit. But, yeah, a bow made for horseback is gonna be a lot shorter. That's very cool. What a great gift. Truly. Apparently, if you've got the stomach for it, you can hunt a rabbit using a flashlight and a blunt stick. A former classmate said he did it down here in Louisiana. I mean, yeah. Oh, they just freeze and stare at the light. So you're doing deer in headlights, basically. That isn't always legal. It depends on where you live. But yeah, there are restrictions on the use of lights. Probably for that reason. I don't know what the specific limitations are because they are different from state to state. I was once taught how to illegally hunt squirrels by a recently released gentleman on the train. What an incredible life. Yeah, Viren's wife gonna be menacing heavy infantry formations. Yeah, like, don't even play with me. Archers in a line. I do not have the ability to pull a bow that would be strong enough to be, like, an English longbow for the purposes of warfare. Probably not. But I am working out again, so I'm working on it. The row, if you ever do rows, like you're pulling, that's the exercise to do to strengthen your back so that you can pull the bow. Pull the bow. You'd be surprised how deep even a basic-ass arrow sinks into soft things shot from a 30-pound draw. I have a 20-pound bow that I have probably taken some of the power out of because I've put dampeners and stuff on it, but I feel pretty confident that I could KO a rabbit if I could aim for it, and hit it, I have absolutely no doubt that a 20-pound bow is strong enough for a small game. But, oh gosh. You know, we're gonna have to get around to talking about this actual news so that we can have some segments for the channel for next week. Hitting them's the hardest part, of course. I think you just have to embrace that the first time you go hunting, you're probably not gonna catch anything. Like, knowing what to look for in the woods and, like, having, like, moving quietly, all these different things. It's gonna be probably unsuccessful the first time. And if you do succeed, then you can be happy about it. Milena, hello, darling. Welcome in. Good to yeah, the one red name in chat. Amazeballs. We've been meandering topics for a while, and we probably need to do actual news. We have 2 positive news subjects today, and that's it. That's all. Excuse me. This is a great book. The Survival Handbook, 3rd edition. Okay. Cool, thank you for the rec. Yeah, oh no, there's a white name in chat. How dare. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh yeah, we're doing positive news. Yeah, we're only doing positive news today. This is the most on-topic Lux stream. Mayday, mayday, we're going down means I can talk about whatever I want. But I might have to get water before I start talking about the news. Might have to take my little voice break. Get a little bit of water. It's nice to have a hobby that gets you outside. I went shooting Monday. Oh yeah, I gave myself a migraine shooting Monday because I was like, oh, it's gonna be like stormy all week. I gotta go like this one clear morning. Or yeah, I think it was Monday. Hey, thank you, Milena, for the gifted tier 1 sub. Mayo side, anime eye gleam. Anime eyes. Thank you. Much appreciated. Someone donated like $100 before stream started, so I've already flexed once. And that's a good thing, because it's a milestone flex. I started bulking again today, so over the next few weeks, you'll see some muscle growth, which I'm very excited about. Yes, happy Beltane! Happy Beltane! I liked doing celebrations for Beltane. I'm just so bad at remembering that these things are happening. Like, oh, I could have baked a penis-shaped bread. Maybe I'll do it this weekend. Maybe I'll celebrate May Day this weekend. I'll make the bread. Maybe I'll make a special Beltane meal, because I've done that before. I know, that's what you get for being late, Corpse Candy. Listen, if we can get... How much? If we can get $40 more this stream, I'll flex again, okay? And you can see the pathetic weak muscles that I have from having not bulked since December. Lux, please tell my girlfriend that 1 tiny bottle of water a day is not enough. It's not. I think for even a normal person... So I should have 2 of these per day because I have low blood volume and dehydration problems. I think a regular person needs to drink 1 of these per day, and it's 32 ounces. Or no, not 32. That's wrong. It's 64 ounces. You need to drink 64 ounces of water. Pretty much all pagan holidays are food and fire with some other details. Exactly. I would love to have a fire. Stupid rental. Not letting me have fire. Lux, no negative self-talk. Your muscles are nice. Listen, they are demonstrably smaller than they were when I was bulking last year, okay? They atrophied a little bit. A good duck pho merges the comfort of the best chicken soup you've ever had on a sick day with the in-your-face intrigue of the best Vietnamese herbs and spice. It's not violating your lease if you don't get caught. Well, I'm not going to endorse that statement. I can't endorse that statement. So sorry. I also didn't even finish my, what is this called? I didn't even finish my tapestry thing that I was making. I burned so many herbs in my apartment and just blasted my air purifier. The air quality in this place sucks already. There's, like, neighbors who smoke and that worsens the air quality, and, like, there's mold and shit. Like, when I run the air filter, it doesn't take very long for the filter to get, like, gross. And then I gotta switch it. Bunch of people here in Texas died of carbon monoxide poisoning in their apartments trying to burn stuff to keep warm during the polar vortex storm that knocked out the power grid. Yeah, people don't know. You gotta... It's like you don't want to crack open a window, but you kind of would have to. Gotta get you a heavy-duty air purifier. Yeah. I guess, especially if I'm gonna move up Pacific Northwest way, having a good, solid indoor air purifier would be probably a good idea because of the smoke season. Currently, I just use whatever the highest available grade of furnace fan filter that I can get, and then I make myself a Corsi Rosenthal machine. California as well. Gotta deal with smoke season, neighbors having shit air quality, like... Yeah, that's the thing, too, is, like, the air purifiers that are good quality are pretty expensive, and then also the filters are really expensive to replace. Whereas I bought a $20 box fan, and I can spend $30 on a furnace filter every couple of months. They're on sale, I can finally get a second one. And yes, forest fires will be probably getting worse over time. Yep, it's just gonna get hotter and drier. Hotter and drier forever. Not forever, but probably... I don't know. If I'm 30, let's assume, being very generous, that I'm gonna live to be 90 or 100. Am I in that 60 to 70 year time span? Am I gonna see the effects of climate change start to slow or reverse? I don't know, that's a really interesting question. Or is it just gonna get worse every year until I'm dead? I'm just gonna get hotter and drier forever. Ben Shapiro's wife, probably. True. Climate change isn't gonna happen until 2100, so you're fine. True. Yeah, let's... I'm not gonna say anything to the 2 tornadoes that I know of that happened yesterday across the Midwest. Oh no! Another white name. Melena's on a mission. Mayocide mission. Just a little reminder, everybody. If you're on the YouTube chat, if you want, you can hop over to the website chat, where we have special emojis. Everybody seems to enjoy their dicks emoji. That's the fan favorite. Also, we have the puss emoji. Oh, God. Thank you, Milena, once again. Tier 1 sub gifted to Timerini, a white name Ree! Yep. Oh no, there's another one. Dick's propeller. It's spin. Dick's spin. If you want to make it, if you want to impress a chick, do the helicopter dick. Go. Anybody? Classic Lonely Island song? That's the one with Lady Gaga in it. It's okay when you're in a three-way. That's that one. The golden rule, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. With a honey in the middle, there's some leeway. Yep, everyone deserves to spin their happy genitals. Make Lady Gaga dizzy with them. Dizzy. I have seen more helicopter dicks in my life than I have heard that song. As a straight dude? Oh no. It's gotta be like a locker room thing. That they're just like, we're gonna helicopter dick. Because honestly, to me, it seems like helicopter dick is a thing that is kind of easiest to do when it's floppy. You know? Like, I guess I'm not super familiar. I've not personally witnessed a helicopter dick in my life. I've definitely heard way more songs. I've heard that song way more times than I've seen helicopter dick. I guess I just never dated someone who was that type of silly. Straight dudes be doing some gay shit. True. You gotta be more of a shower than a grower for it to work too. Okay. Or maybe you just gotta have like a partial, like a chub. Welp, I gotta go. Namaste. Bye. Very silly conversation. I'm okay with it. With this silly conversation, we will propel ourselves toward 100 likes on the video. I still remember the years back in high school when our friend group was playing the game From Waiting, where you try to trick your friends into looking at your junk. We ended up getting really creative. Yeah, that was a fun movie. I mean, truly, I actually think that it's probably like an unspoken thing that a lot of trans guys, when they get phalloplasty, they're like, yes, finally, I can do the helicopter dick. Has to be done flaccid, otherwise it's just up and down dick. Ah, that's pretty funny. My personal favorite was when I walked sideways past two friends who were playing Soul Calibur. You just slid in front of them like, don't mind me, guys. Why are we showing our friends our junk? Apparently, it's a game that some people consensually play. Straight, ostensibly straight guys who are just like flashing their junk to each other for fun. Took them a few seconds to register, and then they both just stopped and squeezed their eyes shut. You know, the Game Grumps call it the D Club. Like, if you're in the D Club, if you've seen your friend's dick, it's like in the shower or in the sauna, typically, I guess, if you're an adult. Can you really be friends with someone if they haven't seen you somewhat naked? Human beings, we're kind of obsessed with genitals a little bit. This sounds like the stuff Steven Crowder was doing at his show. You know, it was an observation that Natalie Wynn made pretty early in her transition a while ago, that she was like, penises are funny. Yeah, that like one of the things that she felt sort of remorseful about in the process of her transition was that she could not use her body for comedy in the same way anymore. Like that she used to be able to, you know, she made fun of the golden one and like she wore very little clothing and then that like very shitty Game of Thrones cloak. And, or hell, it might have even been before Game of Thrones was really popular. I can't remember. It was a while ago. Still could if she didn't take herself so seriously. I mean, I do think that there is like women's bodies can't be used for comedy in exactly the same way. You can still use their bodies for comedy to an extent, but people are going to, if you reveal your body for the purposes of comedy as a woman, people are going to sexualize it. And people are going to take your ideas less seriously. Like, it is unfortunate, but a man can be stupid and comedic and flash his genitals and still be considered like, oh, like, okay, that was just silly. Now we're switching back to philosophy mode. You know? Like, women do have to deal with this whole, if I lean into my femininity, then that's going to be like, I'm just not going to be taken seriously. Nobody's going to listen. People are going to be too fixated on my body. The conversation is going to become about my body and like, should I have done this or should I have not? I think I saw that trans woman, yeah. Yeah, and again, this, like, the whole flashing each other thing is, like, it has to be consensual. Otherwise, it's sexual harassment. If you don't make out passionately, are you even friends? If you don't explore each other's bodies, are you even friends? Those stolen summer camp moments. I'm trying to rekindle the desire in myself. Speaking of being a femme who's showing off their body, I'm kind of trying to rekindle the desire in myself to like do fansly pictures. Because Mama Mephistopheles pointed out, like, you could put archery poses on there, and I was like, actually, like, I kind of would like to do that. Yeah, if you don't clap each other's ass, what are you doing? The gay shit that y'all do in locker rooms, like smacking each other on the ass. We gotta look up puppetry of the penis off stream, okay? If people aren't assuming you and the homies are gay, you probably ain't got any homies. I know, rip in pieces. I don't got real homies. Puppetry of the penis is literally just a show of two guys doing funny stuff with their penises. It's actually great. Okay? Good rec. I would love to be more naked, but I don't like people gopping. Yeah. Y'all, the bear thing. Did I even talk about the bear? Was this even happening on Sunday when I last streamed? The bear. The bear? People are on TikTok and they're like, it's like asking women, like, okay, would you rather be in the woods with a man or a bear? And it seems like the overwhelming answer is the bear. The men are upset. Yeah. I had a disagreement with a friend of mine, not like a close friend, but like an acquaintance, who was like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. This doesn't statistically make sense. And then I was like, okay, well, here are like 5 different reasons I can think of, or that I have heard other people say. Yeah, like the bear is going to leave you alone 99% of the time. Even if they rush at you, you can, if you get big and you do this, like you can probably, they're going to just bluff charge you and then they're going to go away. Yeah, black bear is an obvious choice. Sort of depends on the bear. Sure, I could see it depending on the bear. There are 2 kinds of men. The men who understand why women choose the bear, and the men who are the reason women choose the bear. Like, I don't know if this person I was talking to is, like, autistic, but he was really stuck on the idea that only 5% of all men are predators. Like, you know, if we were to say that, like, a maximum of 5% of men are sexually abusing people or being creepy or whatever, like, which, you know, I don't know what the actual number is. Like, 95% of men are not dangerous. Like, okay, well, but there's, like, a greater level of certainty that the bear is dangerous, right? So I don't have to, like, the bear isn't gonna lull me into a false sense of security by acting normal and then attack me, you know? Like, there's just so many different things. And, like, you can't even just look at crime statistics, because how, like, if you expand it past men who've just literally committed crimes, like, how many men out there are following women and, like, catcalling them and, like, just being scary and shit. Like, I've had people call and ask what my work schedule is. Like, I've had a guy, like, one time, a man called my workplace and was like, when is that person going to be working again? Can I have their contact information? And my manager at the time was like, no, that's really inappropriate. Or, you know, like having a guy waiting for you when you get off your shift. Like, there are scary things that happen that aren't necessarily crimes. And while a very small portion of the male population has been convicted of a sex crime, like, why is it then that, like, almost every woman I know, if not every woman I know, has had, like, a negative experience, or she's been scared, she's narrowly avoided a violent situation? Yeah, if a woman says she's attacked by a bear, she's gonna be believed. Like, again, if the bear is trying to hurt you, like, most of the time the bear is not determined to hurt you. Most of the time you can be like, I'm just gonna scare it away. The fact that it's even a debate kind of proves the point. Fucking true. But yeah, the bear is not gonna follow you home. There's a 0% chance that the bear is going to sexually assault you. Therefore, there's a 0% chance that you're gonna have to deal with, like, having the bear's baby later, or trying to afford the healthcare to terminate. Like, if a bear is trying to come at me, I can probably scare it away. But if a man is coming at me, I'm gonna have to get physical. Like, I'm not gonna be able to just scare him away, probably. And also, if I kill the bear in self-defense, I don't have to worry about going to jail for the rest of my life, because that's a thing that happens when, like, women are defending themselves from domestic abuse. They end up in prison. Like, are you fucking kidding me? There are so many reasons. By the way, I know several good news sites if we want to look at some stuff. Whoop. Cool. Yeah, you're not going to be worried about ruining the bear's reputation or having people, like, call into, like, oh, but that bear is so nice. I don't think that bear would have attacked you. I can't imagine that bear attacking you. Hello, Neil. YouTube app made this impossible. The web version has comments not working, and I finally had the sense to run here. Welcome. I'm so confused. Why are we talking about bears? It's I don't know what the original post was, but it was just a question that was posed on the internet, and now TikTok and everywhere else is talking about it, like asking a woman, would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man, like any random man? One time a polar bear stood up and put his nose to the glass at the zoo, and he looked at me like a cupcake in a bakery case. Yeah, you're not going to be called attention seeking after you, like, when you're talking about the bear attack. Some dude said to me, yeah, but a bear has never protected a woman. And then I asked him, protect the woman from what? I'm far more afraid of humans than animals. Animals can be deterred. Animals don't have to pay the bills. Like, the animals aren't gonna, like, mug you or, yeah, again, like, sexually assault you. Polar bears don't even mess around. They know their habitat is ruined, and it's our fault. They want revenge. Yeah, animals are predictable. They don't have weird reasons for doing stuff. Bad Ash in the YouTube chat claims, actually, bears have protected humans before. I'm curious. This stuff is making me mad all over again. Yeah, so this friend of mine, this acquaintance, at one point in the conversation, I was like, you do not seem to understand the fear that women live with on a regular basis. And he was like, I don't think that this fear is entirely rational. And then he's invoking crime statistics again. And I'm like, I don't really think... I'm so grateful for therapy because it has enabled me to communicate more effectively. At first, I wanted to be like, I don't think you have any right to tell women that their fear is irrational. What I actually said was, I don't think it's appropriate for men to tell women that their fear is irrational. But, like, just someone who is so stuck on the statistics, like, okay, it's, like, not about crime statistics. It's about the daily antagonism and the fact that any one of those situations could escalate and you don't know which guy is going to escalate. We even win the argument on statistics anyway, right? I guess if you're comparing statistics for how dangerous bears are versus men, what percentage of bear encounters result in an attack versus how many encounters with men result in an attack? I don't know what the statistical difference is. Statistics is the cry of the emotionally unintelligent. It's like, I'm sitting here telling you what it's like to walk through the world as a femme. I'm telling you the things that have happened to me or to people that I know. And, like, the fact that it's casually just happening all the time, like, I think the part that he didn't get is that, like, yeah, you never know when one of these mildly uncomfortable situations is going to become an unsafe situation. 1 in 5 women experience SA from men. The chances of being injured by a bear are approximately 1 in 2.1 million. That's not exactly comparable. Like, you know, I would say, you know, okay, yeah, like 1 in 5 women experience SA. I guess that's, yeah, a one-time experience could be counted as so like a 1 in 5. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. There are no bears where I live now, but there will be bears where I live in the future, so that's fun. They don't separate. Well, yeah, they don't separate by gender with the bear attacks. That makes sense. Goodness gracious. Well, Milena sent us some positive news regarding some climate change type stuff or like animal welfare type stuff. We're probably not going to do a segment on that stuff, but we can talk about it generally. Burbs. True. Oh my god. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Birds and burps, indeed. If you move to Australia, the only bears are koala bears. They can't hurt you, but the kangaroos will. I know that the kangaroos will... The kangaroos will drown my dog. Like, they'll do all kinds of crazy shit. Do you say hiccup or hiccough? I say hiccup. Hiccup. But no, Australia is not a place I want to move. The climate change is going to be so bad there. Hey! Milena on a mission. Gifted tier 1 sub to Neil. Says kangaroo. Neil, enjoy your green name and your access to all of the emojis. The dicks emoji is a special favorite of the chat. Yeah, that one video of the dude punching the kangaroo. Because the kangaroo was, like, basically about to eviscerate that dog. Don't mess with the dude's dog. He'll punch you right in the face. And that kangaroo was like, it just did not know what to do. I don't think that kangaroo had ever been smacked in the face before, or like punched. Kangaroos typically kick. But yeah, he was ready to box. Okay. Some bullies just need to know that some people will push back. So you just gotta know. Don't mess with a human. We tend to use tools and retaliate. Okay. I'm gonna take a short break to refill my water and go rest my voice and probably use the restroom real quick. So I'll be gone for about 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. If you go anywhere, I will come find you and I'll hide in your walls until you're asleep, and then I'll burst through your walls like the Kool-Aid Man. Okay? And then when I get back, we will talk about some good news. Good news! Alright, be good. Did you miss me, dear babes? Jump scare. My water is full. My butt is in the chair. Blech. My GF says it's cursed to drink straight balsamic vinegar. Do we agree? In moderation, I think balsamic vinegar probably has some similar health benefits to apple cider vinegar, and it's considered like a pretty normal health thing to take some apple cider vinegar with usually mixed with water or something. Like balsamic vinaigrette is what you got, then sure. It's great to see y'all chatting while I'm gone. Okay, but I'm drinking it straight because I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's electrolytes. I think you're drinking it for the same reason that, you know, trans girls crave pickles and trans girls need to eat a lot of salt. Like, the vinegar is doing something for you. Just straight chugging. I do drink apple cider vinegar, but I think that's the only one with the secret ingredient. The secret ingredient. Okay, what did Milena send us to talk about? Milena sent us an article. Yes, Spiro, I don't even have that excuse. I just have pots. I'm not even on Spiro. I don't like pickles. They are so strange. I only like dill pickles. I don't like sweet pickles or bread and butter pickles. Balsamic vinegar on cream cheese with crackers is delicious too. Ooh, that sounds good. Dill pickle supremacy. What's the scoopage on good news? Oh, thank you. I am beautiful. My hair looks so cute right now. So wavy. Someone understands the joys of acid and cream. Okay, so here's a fun little lore piece. When I was a kid, my mom liked to take us to the country buffet because you can just give money one price and your teenagers can consume a shit ton of food, right? I guess I wasn't a teenager yet. I was younger than that. But I think it was basically like my last plate every time. So I would get ice cream at the very end, but my last plate was always like a pile of dill pickled chips and a pile of cottage cheese. Like, literally. It slapped. Oh man, it was good. It slapped. So yeah, I would eat a heap of cottage cheese and then I would eat soft serve ice cream. Ridiculous. I'm bisexual, also emo. I am not emo. I did identify as emo. I'm gonna be honest. So here's the thing. Like, yeah, saying I don't really go for fansly because that's not my jam. If there were more femme folks just posing with swords and bows, I would definitely subscribe to those. Like, I started my fansly kind of copying Conyer, because Conyer just, like, puts together cute goth outfits and then takes pictures in front of the mirror. And I was like, that's amazing. I sometimes want to wear cute goth outfits, and then if I take pictures and I make money, that would be great. But, like, so I haven't posted there in a long time because I just haven't really felt like I'm in the mood. But, yeah, I do have a fansly. And there is a backlog of pictures from last year. And then Conyer, yeah, I don't know how active Conyer is nowadays, but for a while they were posting pretty regularly. And yeah, so it's just, my fansly is mostly just cute outfits or like costumes. I feel weird seeing people naked in a sexual way when I don't know them. Hey, that's fair. That's totally cool. It's exclusively safe for work, or at least non-nude. Sometimes thirst traps, but like non-nude. Who is this Conyer? I only know Canoe. I'm just a little guy. who apparently loves cottage cheese and pickles. And then, yeah, Mama Mephistopheles recommended that I could post archery pics on the Fansly, and I was like, actually, that's not a bad idea. Could be cute. Okay, so Milena sent us an article about beloved birds. Oh my god, beloved birds return to islands for first time in 40 years after damming damage has been reversed. Yeah, the landing page of Fansly is a little bit in your face. In Tasmania, there's a bird returning for the first time in 40 years. The Australasian bittern disappeared from Tasmania's northern reaches for decades following a hydropower project in 1964, which disrupted a unique local wetland ecosystem called the Lagoon of Islands. It's always the wetlands. Stop disrupting wetlands. We need them. God. I'm so passionate about wetlands. Raising the water level, flooding the islands, and eliminating the prime habitat of the bird, its return is a watershed moment in the area's recovery following the elimination of the dams in 2012. So it took 12 years after the removal of the dams to restore the habitat enough that this species moved back in. I know the Supreme Court said that there don't need to be wetlands protections. Oh, I hate them so much. I don't think it's like that's one of the decisions of the Supreme Court that makes me the maddest. Like of all the things that I could be mad at the Supreme Court about, stripping protections for wetlands is really, really, really high up there. And they have done some really upsetting things in my lifetime. Yeah, the biggest shame of climate change is that it could wipe out the bird, the great tit. Gotta keep those tits. Yeah, wetlands can turn CO2 into oxygen more efficiently than a whole forest. They trap carbon, like they hold moisture in the ground. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie sends in another $25 dono, or a $25 dono after having donated already at the top of the stream. Says, get ready to flex again. That's true. That's true. It is time for me to flex again. Every Supreme Court decision that's actively destroying progressive efforts can be attributed to Trump at this point. Well, so, but interestingly, my partner brought up Hobby Lobby today and was like, is there a reason why Hobby Lobby sucks more than other places? And I was like, I personally think they suck more than other places because I have a stick in my craw about the whole birth control thing back in the day. No, you haven't missed the flex. It hasn't happened yet. I'm taking my time getting to it. But so the Supreme Court, this was back before Obama or at the first Obama admin, but they, the Supreme Court ruled in Hobby Lobby's favor, saying that like a company has the right to deny its employees insurance coverage for birth control specifically. And then I think it was the Affordable Care Act, which passed during Obama's days, that made it to where you can't deny care on insurance for a pre-existing condition. And they basically just said being a woman is a pre-existing condition. So the insurance company itself has to provide that, even if the company itself is supposed to have an exemption because of their closely held religious beliefs. So yeah, the closely held religious beliefs of this corporation. So, you know, the Supreme Court has been terrible since before Trump interfered, to be clear. It's been bad for a while, I would say. Okay, this is our milestone day, because I just started bulking again as of today. So we're... Muscle mommy, come on. I was cutting for a long time, so my arms are not as big, but I started bulking again today, so probably in about 2 or 3 weeks we'll see appreciable results. Hold on. It's amazing. Okay, so it's like not flexing, flexing. This latissimus dorsi. Like, I didn't realize that my back got as big as it did. Yeah, showing off the lats. I'm not gonna try to turn around and like, well, I don't know, can I? Can I turn around? I gotta spin around in the chair. Like, it's like, doesn't work in this shirt. Ugh. And also, again, the like definition is not there at the moment. When I first started watching you had 0 definition. I mean, my arms, like, especially if I hold them at the right angle, like, you gotta hold the arm up slightly, and then you get this nice little line right here, this nice little curve. But, like, the bigness is actually, like, not that big. Ugh. But yes, thank you for the donos. Much appreciated. Yeah, is that the goal? To crush fruits? Like, I'm just gonna flex my bicep and just like, I'll crush a fucking apple. And then the watermelon thing. I feel like that would be a good way to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your fansly name again? It's just Luxander. It's just Luxander. Yeah, and like, I guess that's part of why I'm like, I want, just here, hold on. Ah, there you go. Still exists, right? They haven't closed my account or something? No. Okay. Still exists. When I first started watching Lux, it was noodle-armed and had blue short hair. Oh god, you've been around for a while then. Just didn't show up in search for some reason. Interesting. I wonder if they deprioritize safer work content on the platform. You know, a lot of people, Noah says, a lot of people treat me like a radical leftist and gender rights advocate, but no one seems to remember that I am foremost a fanatical environmentalist. Yeah, 8 years. Yeah, I dyed my hair blue in like 2016. Yeah. Fansly comes up on Google. Bah. Bah. But Fansly didn't show my account on a search. So strange. I now follow 2 safer work content creators on Fansly. Yeah, we're crowding out real sex workers. It's terrible what we're doing. Terrible, terrible. Number go up. Whoa. I typed in 2,000. Wouldn't that be something? $2,000 in one stream? Holy shit. I think I could only accomplish that if I were doing like a fundraiser. Yeah, if you want not safe for work stuff, you gotta check out Mama Mephistopheles. Asex workers. True. I should color my hair blue, TBH. You gotta watch out, because sometimes it results in your hair being green. Gotta be careful. Lux is a sexant worker. It's only thirst traps. Okay, I want to finish reading this article though. Yeah, so they just flooded the area again back in 2012. And it brought back the burbs. They came back. Oh my god, why? Yeah, wetlands and plants and toilet ads. Okay, what was this one? First known photos of, quote, lost bird not seen in 2 decades are captured by University of Texas scientists. For the first time, scientists have captured photos of a bird in Africa that was unseen for nearly 20 years. Known as the yellow-crested helmet shrike, the species had been listed as a lost bird by the American Bird Conservancy since it had not been spotted in nearly 2 decades. Scientists from UT at El Paso discovered a small flock of the birds during a 6-week expedition to a mountain range in eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. The team trekked for 75 miles through the depths of the Itombwe Massif Mountains, studying birds, amphibians, and reptiles along the way. While exploring the cloud forests... Oh, cloud forests! Ah! I don't know that there's any environment that tantalizes me as much as cloud forests. Ooh, that's tasty. Exploring the cloud forest on the slopes of a mountain, Harvey and Brady stumbled upon the helmet shrike, a striking blackbird with a bright yellow helmet. In total, about 18 of the birds appeared in noisy and active groups among the mid-layer of forest vegetation at 3 separate sites during the expedition. That's so fun. I know that Ace is stealing all the garlic bread. What is a cloud forest? I mean, if it is what I think it is... I mean, it's like a tropical forest where there is fog. Like pretty heavy fog. Forest where there's low clouds. Yeah. Foggy forests. There's also gray asex workers with which it is a bit hit or miss. It's either garlic bread or sex no one can know beforehand. You have to pay the full price. Like, yeah, fuck me up with some cloud forests. Absolutely. Oh my god. Is there anywhere in America where there are cloud forests? Wait, are there cloud forests in USA? Or is it only a tropical thing? Yunque National Forest, known as El Yunque, is the only tropical rainforest in the United States National Forest System. One of the ecosystems found on its steep mountains is the cloud forest, which is located over 2,500 feet over the sea level. So there's only one cloud forest within the control of the United States. Is it possible for chat to be totally out of sync with the video? It's usually pretty good. Don't make me start about demi-sex workers. Thank you, Milena, once again. Garlic bread is for the people. Enjoy the gifted tier 1 sub, which is local. British Columbia is classified as a temperate rainforest. Ooh, there's another one? Yes. Thank you. Again, Milena is just blowing things up today. I don't think we're going to get to 300 today, but if it seems like we're going to get close to 300, then I'm willing to flex again. The rainforests in British Columbia are stunning. I'll have to get myself a passport so that I can go up and see. Rainforest in the Appalachia is fascinating to me. Yeah, like, where is Yunque Forest? Where is it? Is that... Wait, where is that? Oh, it's in Puerto Rico. Okay, yeah, duh, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, got it. The opposite of the flex emoji is, yeah, Peepo fat. Him got big belly. Him got the biggest belly. Ooh, yawning. Okay. Okay, what did you sent me another one. The first high-speed rail line in U.S. breaks ground. Oh, okay, so we're gonna get a high-speed rail at 200 miles an hour from Vegas to L.A. Okay. So, yeah, it travels at 320 kilometers per hour or around 200 miles per hour. Oh, it'll be finished in 4 years, just in time for the 2028 Olympics. That's pretty exciting. It would be great if we had a more connected rail system. Like, that would be good. I don't have a ton of additional commentary. Like, obviously, we are so late. We're so late in having high-speed rail. You know, like, there are so many flights that go from New York to, is it Quebec? Like, right just north of there. Like, there are so many flights that go there, and you could just have a train, and it would take less time, and there would be fewer emissions. Car-based infrastructure bros seething right now. Listen, I'm not even saying that I want to usurp cars or, like, eliminate them completely, but I do want to have there be way more emphasis on efficient public transit. I feel the worst about my car when I think about the microplastics that come out of the tires. That's the part that makes me feel the most bad. Like, I feel like that has probably more direct, tangible harm in my feeling as compared to, like, the emissions. My car is not a gas guzzler. It's not terrible. Speaking of trains, I was like, how would I get my plants to Oregon? Like, hypothetically, I would be moving in the winter. So I don't think there's any reasonable way for me to take my plants in the car for, like, a 3-day trip in the winter. And, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to drive back down and then drive back up in the summertime with my plants? And then my partner was like, you could take the train. And I was like, wow. And then I looked into it, and I guess I could rent a shipping box. How does that work? A shipping box? We're so car-cucked that even updating existing non-car infrastructure seems radical and like a threat, right? If we even suggest improving trains or improving buses, they take this as a threat. It's super weird. Like, I'm not even talking about reducing the amount of cars right now. I'm simply talking about improving and expanding alternatives. I'm all for trains, but moving is one of those car things. Well, this was just the suggestion of, you know, coming back for my plants later. That was the suggestion, is like, just moving my plants on the train. Could I get a car and just do that? Like, well, the answer is that it would take, like, a couple of days via train. And, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, I probably should just see if I can slim down my plants. I think there's at least 2 that I'm not super psyched about having anymore, and I could definitely get rid of. You can also get a U-Haul. I mean, we will get a U-Haul, but it's not temperature controlled. Like, I don't think that any rental cars, like rental trucks, are temperature controlled. So if it's going to be like January or something, like, it's going to be cold. It's a 3-day trip. It is genuinely, it's like a 3-day drive to Seattle from Kansas City. Wrap your plants. I mean, like, what do you just wrap them with, like, plastic? Do they stay warm for 3 days in the U-Haul? I have, like, I have Sansevierias. I don't think they do well. Yeah, true. Light a fire in the U-Haul. Absolutely. Problem solved. I guess I could run a space heater in there. Put them in a big cooler with hot water bottles, maybe? Perhaps. My thought was like, okay, we're probably going to drive the U-Haul, and then we could tow my car. But then, like, so could I just run the heater in my car? Could I, like, turn on the car and just leave it in neutral? And have it heating up my plants at a slight angle? Like, I think it would work, you know? But am I going to leave my car running all night as my plants are chilling in there all night? Like, no, probably. So we still dealing with the same problem. What about donating them to someone locally and starting again in Washington? Yeah. Some of them rent a van and don't stop. It's a 3-day trip, y'all. Bring plants into the hotel. True. Some of these plants are like, one of them is like from my partner's grandparents' family's house in Kentucky or whatever. And then one of my plants was like a cutting gifted to me by my stepmom-in-law or whatever. And like, you know, so I could get rid of some of them. Can you send them through USPS or something? Maybe. I could just be like, yeah, I'm gonna have my sister send me my plants through the mail. Hey, Somniostatic, welcome in. Yes, we have to teach the U-Haul about marks. US maps are very deceptive. Going from the Midwest on out west takes way longer than you'd think. There's the elevation change. You have to go up through the mountains. So, like, yeah, it's not just laterally. Like, you're also moving... longitudinally? Or maybe it's the other way around. I did the hotel thing with accordions. I mean, the thing is that, like, we do have musical instruments that would probably need to come inside as well. Tier 1 sub for Somniostatic. Thank you, Milena. Got you, fam. Just absolute mayo side up in here. I'm gonna continue typing number go up. Listen. I'll do it again. I'll even show off Tum this time. If we get to $300, which I don't think we will. But that's okay. You gotta get 2 rooms, one for your stuff and one for you. Yep, the stringed instruments. I have 2 acoustic guitars. My partner has several bass guitars. Those would definitely need to come inside. There's a violin that would need to come inside. There are tornadoes and junk in the Midwest right now. There were 2 tornadoes that I know of yesterday. When I moved, I made a few big prop boxes with plants/cuttings, and those weren't too hard to stack up in my car, put blankets on, take inside with me, etc. Yeah. So maybe, yeah, I could put them in my car and just, like, put blankets on them. And hope that they make it. Isn't, like, 80% of the country covered in tornadoes? I mean, Tornado Alley is very active right now. Driving up and over through Wyoming is probably going to be a better bet than through the mountains. Yeah, no kidding. Alternatively, give the room to the stuff and you eep in the car. I'm not going to eep in the car in January. I do have a PayPal, but the link in the description takes you to my website if you want to donate directly. Which it's hosted by PayPal. The payment is hosted by PayPal, but not the direct PayPal link. Tummy on other people, based, cool, hot. Tummy on me, cringe, broke, not lit. Yeah, you know what? I'm switching from the cut back to a bulk because I got really disappointed with, like, how slowly I felt I was losing weight, or like reducing body fat percentage, or however you want to put it. And like, but I did, you know, I brought it down like a couple pounds at least. So I'm just gonna switch to bulking and stop worrying so much about my tum. Some people really appreciate the tum. I just want to keep it in control, you know? I think it's easy to gain weight. I mean, it sort of depends. Like, if you're really, really thin, underweight person, whatever, if you're naturally like that, it can be really hard to gain weight. I think for most people, it's easier to gain weight. And then, like, you have to put a pause in that and stop your body from putting on weight, which is a process in and of itself. And then if you want to switch back to, like, I want to be smaller again, losing weight is, I think, significantly harder. Yeah, just chug olive oil. Yeah, just gonna sleep with the plants in the car. They say that it takes more degrees to burn 1 calorie the more pounds you are over. More degrees, what do you mean? More degrees to burn 1 calorie? Yeah, chugging vinegar during my cut, chugging olive oil during my bulk. Okay, more energy. It takes more energy to burn 1 calorie the more pounds you are. That's interesting. Like, you have to spend... I mean, is it just because it... Like, if you're heavier, it takes more energy to move your body? So it takes more energy to achieve the, like, let's say the level of cardio you're trying to hit. Corpse Candy claims that it's the opposite because the bigger you are, the easier to lose weight because your BMR is higher. Body mass ratio? I say this as someone who's lost 120 pounds. Okay, I'll take Corpse Candy's word for it. Base metabolic rate. Okay. Cool. Well, that's fun. Body mass index. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So we were going to do a couple of actual segments tonight. We did talk about the good news. But we were going to do good news in a segment. Okay, I'm just gonna observe this really quick. My caloric intake to lose weight is like 2,600 calories because I'm a big guy. Oh, yeah, because I guess, like, it takes more energy to send energy around if you've got like more distance for it to travel. You're like a big person, it requires more energy for you to live, maybe? Yeah. I'm skinny already, so it's like the limitations on my calories are annoying. That's part of why my progress was so slow, is because I was like, you know, I'm not really gonna worry too much about exactly what I'm eating. I'm not gonna count calories. I'm just gonna, like, eat intuitively during certain times of the day. I'm doing intermittent fasting, but I'm not anymore. Oh my god. It's so nice to eat in the morning. Okay, I am ready to talk about the subjects tonight. We spent 3 hours talking about whatever I wanted to talk about. That was nice. Okay. Yawn. So sleepy. Okay. Let me double check. Let me... Is this what I think it is? Okay. Okay, yeah, this is specifically a youth care ban. We've been following the saga of what's going on here in Kansas for a while because, yeah, I'm from here. I live here. I'm gonna have to leave here, partially because of the fact that it's more hostile to trans people than it used to be. But it is not necessarily always all bad. Hey, last year, for example, the Congress in my state tried to pass a bill that would restrict trans youth from being able to access gender affirming care. So no puberty blockers, no cross-sex hormones, no nothing until you turn 18, right? And our governor is Democratic, which is a little bit weird, I guess. Just goes to tell you about the gerrymandering here, that our Congress is still majority Republican, but our governor, twice in my lifetime that I'm aware, has been a Democrat. So thankfully, when we have these situations where a very egregious overstepping into people's private lives gets canceled out, like when even Republicans might not be comfortable with it, we have a Democratic governor who's like, no, we're not going to do this. And then they do not have a supermajority on all of these issues. They do have a supermajority. They did on the bathroom issue when they made it to where like trans people have to use the bathroom that they were assigned at birth, associated with their sex assigned at birth. Legally speaking, that's the appropriate thing to do in the state of Kansas now. Adults, kids, in schools, in public, anywhere. That is what is required. I don't think it even specified in government-owned buildings. It was just like anywhere, any business. So rather unfortunate, right? They did not have the veto-proof majority for the anti-trans care ban last year. But as happens in all of these different places, they keep shotgunning, is what it's called. Like they just keep throwing new things at the wall until something sticks, right? If the bathroom ban hadn't passed last year, they would have put out another one this year and tried to force it through. They would have changed the verbiage a little bit and tried to convince someone to, like one of the swing voters, to vote for it. That's what they've been doing this year with a trans ban for gender affirming care for the youth, anyone under 18. And, as I have loved ones who are trans under the age of 18, and it is not fun to be like, okay, are they going to grandfather us in? Is the medicine still going to be available? Are we going to have to stop temporarily until the kid turns 18? It's not a fun situation to be in. So we've been worried about it for a while. And it turns out, hey, here we are. The governor vetoed it, as we expected, this year, this time coming around. And again, they did not have the veto-proof majority last year, but it seemed like they were going to have it this year. So one vote, this one woman, she voted for the bill previously, but then she listened to some families and Kansans talking about the harms that this would have, and she changed her vote. And I want to hear what she has to say about it. Share it with you all.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We hear of bullying and ask authorities to make it stop.
Hold on, crank it up.
We hear about mental health.
We're going to start it over.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We hear of bullying and ask authorities to make it stop. We hear about mental health, about suicide, and ask why. We're not listening to the impacted youth. Government involvement is not the answer.
She just is like, yeah, we're not listening to the impacted youth. And when you listen to the impacted youth, it turns out this is not what's going to help them.
I voted for this bill in the past due to concerns about the surgery. With further consideration, this bill is vague beyond the surgery.
Okay, thank you. Recognizing that these laws are written in a very broad way. Like, yeah, you're concerned about minors having surgery, whatever. Obviously, everybody wants there to be vetting to make sure that minors don't have like unnecessary surgical procedures. But she's like, yeah, actually, this law is written so broadly that it would prevent a bunch of different kinds of healthcare that I'm not concerned about, or that, isn't something that we have a public need to police, which, like, again, I don't really think you need to be making it illegal anyway. There's plenty of gatekeeping already preventing minors from accessing this care. So, like, surgery is very difficult to attain. They're not, like, giving it out to minors for the most part. Yeah, congrats for the legislator doing the right thing. Being willing to change your mind, frankly. Huge deal, huge deal.
These decisions belong between the team of professionals and the parents. The youth need our help, not government overreach. To all who have reached out, I hear you and vote to sustain the governor's veto.
Does any other member wish to change their vote? Seeing none, with 82 having voted in favor and 43 against the passage of Senate Bill 233, the same having failed to receive the required 2/3 majority, the bill is hereby declared sustained.
There we go. I just wanted to let it play out. Sustained the veto. Sustained. And I think she's a Republican as well. Representative Concanon. Susan Concanon. Kansas House of Representative District 107. She doesn't... There's nothing on her profile that makes it obvious whether... Susan Concanon. Yeah, she's a Republican. So a Republican flipped on this because, like, the principles that they ostensibly stand by of small government and, like, letting families make their decisions and things, I wonder if this mindset is going to spread with regards to abortion as well. Because I find myself, I'll be in the middle of saying something about, like, why are you even involving yourself in this? You don't know anybody who, like, you don't personally need this care, and you don't know anybody who needs this care. Like, why do you think you get an opinion? That's the same thing women have been saying for, like, forever. Like, why are these men trying to make decisions about our healthcare? This will never affect you personally. Like, I keep finding myself making the same arguments that have been made because they're bodily autonomy arguments. Like, fundamentally, that's what we're arguing here, is that that people deserve to have bodily autonomy and that the government should get the hell out of our business. Exactly, yeah. Government overreach is the phrase. And I think that one thing that this does elucidate is the importance of not only voting locally, but also contacting your representatives. Sometimes they listen. Excuse me. Sometimes they don't. A lot of the times they don't. Sometimes they are clearly not listening to any of the testimony, and they're just like, I already know how I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote against trans kids because screw them. Like, but yeah, occasionally it does make a difference. So maybe in your district, like, you have a choice between two Republicans, like, that doesn't really happen that often, but, like, let's say that there's a libertarian and a Republican on the docket. You might want to, like, check out what they actually believe so that you can maybe vote for the one that sucks a little bit less, because locally it does make a difference. Hey, Melody Guzman, thank you for the $10 super chat. That's your first super on a live stream, at least on my live stream, if not ever. So thank you so much. There it is. It popped up on the screen. That was cool. considering the language of a bill to ensure it doesn't reach beyond what you intend it to apply to is supposed to be one of the most basic skills of a legislator. I know it's not how things actually work at higher levels, but it makes me pause before giving props for someone doing that now that you're talking about overriding the veto. Yeah, that she voted for it in the first place. I think, yeah, people just imagine this law is only going to be applied in good faith, you know? Like, I do think that there is kind of a presumption of good faith that, like, is probably a bad thing in our government. Like, the fact that there's no rule for politicians to lie, for example. Like, that it's not a disqualifying factor. There's no punishment in place for lying. And that, like, lying on its own can't get you impeached. Or that you can run, like that happened in South Carolina, where this woman ran as a Democrat in a brand new district, and then after she was voted in, she changed her party affiliation. So she basically lied during the campaign and then became a Republican and started voting against the progressive interests that she alleged to hold during her campaign, and there's no punishment mechanism in place. Yeah, Kirsten Sinema, is that the one? People's voices are bleeding through, though, so that's good. Right. It's when you, like, humanize the situation. I think that's what makes one of the biggest differences. That Susan Concanon was like, all right, I'm going to listen to these families, these parents, these young people talking about how access to this care has improved their lives, how harmful it would be if they were suddenly taken off of it, you know, not only for the kids' mental health, but their physical health as well. Like, suddenly not being on hormones anymore is disruptive to your body. It's not, like, good for your brain either. So it's nice that, you know, listening to the families made some progress in this situation. And I'm sure they're going to keep trying again next year or later this year or what have you. Just like, oh, let's make it more specific then. Let's outlaw just the surgeries. Like, okay, they'll outlaw the surgeries, and then they'll try to amend it to start including less, like, including, like, things that are less severe. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's such a freak event for a Republican to, like, listen and then try to do the right thing. But, you know, they often are Republicans for non-hating trans people reasons. It's maybe not fair to the average Republican that is the image that their party has because of this, like, frankly, minority of extremist alt-right Republican types who are putting trans issues at the center of their party identity right now. It's probably not fair to the average person who's like, I'm a Republican because I want there to be different taxes. You know, like, there are some, like, reasons why people vote Republican that aren't hating gay people and hating trans people. But yeah, good news. Yay. Trans youth in Kansas have a little bit more time before the next attack on their rights. Yay. Okay, that's the segment. I'm going to put it in my notes now. Notes, notes, notes. Susan. Not that Susan, a different Susan. Oh my god, it's May. I can't believe it's May. And I'm still using the same notes sheet from last year. Oh, nope, that's not right. That's not the right link. This is the link. Different link. Okay. We did it. I'm gonna be another year older at the end of the month. Sag? No, no Sag. Getting older is a sign that you've made it this far. Listen. Elders are revered because they made it this far. Most people are just woefully politically illiterate in general. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's like a certain mixture of intelligence and interest and exposure to the facts that not everybody possesses that trifecta. Ugh. I happened to be trans in Laramie, Wyoming the day Matthew Shepard was killed. I traveled through, stopped in the hardware store, and had no idea why I was getting looks. That is serendipitous. Not in a good way, but serendipitous. Ooh, we're so close to 100 likes. Do we think we can get to 100 likes today? I don't want to be 23. Listen, 23 is a good age. I mean, you'll feel better when you get closer to 30, but... yeah, I'm not gonna necessarily judge someone who's like, I'm done giving Republicans the benefit of the doubt. Like, if you know that the Republican Party has this human rights agenda where they're attacking people's personal freedoms, then, you know, if you're gonna still vote for them because of the tax stuff, I could see that, you know, that being like legitimate reason to not trust people. Oh, you didn't know about Matthew Shepard? Or was there a specific thing? Ooh. Like, cause, yeah, it's been a while since I read about it, but I am familiar. Ignorance isn't an excuse to be a Republican, IMO. Being too stupid to check what you're voting for is not an excuse. And people can't help but be stupid. This is why it's considered ableist to call people stupid or to, like, make fun of them for their intelligence. Like, because people who are dumb can't help that they're dumb. People who don't have critical thinking skills can't help that they don't have critical thinking skills, you know? I mean, yeah, some of them take pride in being uneducated. Ooh. Oh my god, yawn. I don't know what I'm eating later, but I'm excited to eat later. The worst was being called slow. Yeah, that's fair. Look at my shiny frizzy hair. It's shiny and it's frizzy. It's both at the same time. Like, yeah, if you start to see how, you know, public education has been gutted and, you know, stupid religious ideas are being pushed. You have the strong Slavic hair. Is that what's going on? I don't have Slavic hair. I've started curling it, or like getting its natural waves to express, so that's pretty fun. You call it slow, I call it methodical. Yeah, but like, you know, the government is like not doing anything to get rid of lead paint, or like they didn't for a long time. Like it took a significant push to make gasoline unleaded, even though we knew the harms of lead, you know, that like, and a lot of these Republicans are old people. So like they are lead poisoned people with fucking like brain damage. And like they dropped way too much acid in the 60s. Yeah, the gasoline. And it like, yeah, it like evaporates, you know? Yeah. Change costs money though. Okay, we have one more. We have one more good news today. I like the good news streams, okay? We've had a lot of good news about, you know, recovering wetlands. I fucking love wetlands, dude. I'm from Kansas. I love wetlands. Yeah, we have one more good news topic, and then we don't have any more topics for today. Swamps and bogs are pretty great, too. I don't want to go anywhere near them, but... Excuse me. Okay, so the other good news is that the Fourth Circuit has ruled that gender identity is a protected characteristic, and that Medicaid can't not cover it. Like, Medicaid has to cover it. That's the TLDR on the good news. Almost to 100 likes. Can we get to 100 likes? Please? So close. Good Day Kansas explores Kansas Wetlands Education Center and Great Bend. Yeah. Please, sir, can I have some more? More likes? Thank you. What is this? I want to rest my voice. That's why we're watching
Welcome
this.
back here on Good Day Kansas for one of my favorite segments that we do. We are with Kansas Tourism today. We are in Great Bend. We are at the Kansas Wetlands Education Center. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. But first off, I'm with Colby Sharples-Terry. She is the Communications and Public Relations Manager for Kansas Tourism. Colby, always great to see you.
Yes, I appreciate you saying I'm your favorite.
Oh, yes.
I think you said the segment was, but you meant me.
Yeah, I meant you for
Thank
sure.
you. I
Exactly.
appreciate
We
that.
always do love having you on our show. So let's start off this segment today talking about Cheyenne Bottoms here in the outskirts of Great Bend.
Yeah, it's another unique.
I bet she does. Oh, gosh. Why does that person look like he wants to sell me car insurance?
asset that Kansas has that a lot of people don't know. It is the largest marsh in the interior U.S. And so when you come out to this area, you're coming to like a precious ecosystem. And so there is a driving tour. They have kiosks throughout. There's 13 points of interest. You can do a driving tour of the area to learn more.
And how can people get more information, maybe if they want to learn more before they come out to Cheyenne Bottom?
So right here in this building,
Yes.
we're at the Kansas Wetlands Educational Center. It is a 2,000-foot exhibit. There's interaction, there's live animals, there's education. It's an absolute gem of a place. You really get to learn about this ecosystem, but you also get to learn about some of the cool, lesser inhabitants of the area. Adults, children, young at heart, anybody can enjoy this place.
Yeah, as you say, Colby, this is my first time here, and I've just learned so much talking to the director, Curtis, here about everything that they have here. And like you said, it's so interactive. Anyone can have fun when they come here.
Yes, absolutely. One of my favorites actually is outside the building. They have a half-mile trail, and they have 3 different ecosystems that you get to experience. But yeah, make this your first stop before you go out on that driving tour to really understand how precious this place
Definitely.
is.
And also, I was enjoying seeing the live animals they have back there. They have a bunch of different animals you
Turtle.
can come and see, so that's really cool. And obviously, you've been here before for different events as well. I know you really enjoyed your time here, so hopefully you can make it on out here. And while you're out here in Great Bend, there is so much to do here in this city. Just tell us about some of your favorites.
Yeah, so Great Bend, they have a fantastic zoo. They have great parks and trail system. They have art galleries. You know, it's a vibrant little community. But one of my favorite places to stay is actually outside of Great Bend. It's in Ellenwood. It's the historic Wolf Hotel. They have
The
a
Wolf.
speakeasy downstairs that's open on the weekends, and they also have some underground tunnels and some spooky things that have happened there with that. So it's a perfect place to stay.
Yeah, Great Bend, just a great place to be. And like you said, there's so many small towns around here that have hidden gems as well.
Yes, and they're vibrant. They may be smaller communities, but you can easily spend a week here or have a great full weekend full of activities.
Definitely. We're here in the week of spring break, so maybe someone can come out here and enjoy their time, maybe with some kids or just.
Okay, cool. That was a good opportunity for me to rest my voice for a couple minutes. 100 likes! We did it! We did it! Success. Thank y'all. 100 likes, that's the goal. Most streams. It's cool that we can make it there. Ooh! Lux, when you finally leave Kansas, will you say we're not in Kansas anymore? No, people from here are not super amused by the Wizard of Oz references, TBH. It's like, there's other things. There's other things about here. I haven't seen The Wizard of Oz since like 20 plus years ago. Okay. One more. One more for the content mines. One more for the content mines. 100 likes, gang. Let's go. What's up, Chariot? Hello. We have one more news. And then I can leave and eat dinner and rest my voice. That's so exciting. Yeah, we just learned about wetlands a little bit. Because I'm a big fan of wetlands. I don't need this earbud in anymore. Amazing. So, can you say "fly my monkeys fly" when you sign off? I will burn this house to the ground. Gonna wake the dragon. It's like a fine movie and everything, but it's like, I just like I'm from here. I've heard this so many times. Yeah, Lux hates drylands, confirmed. Fly, my kobolds, fly. You're the horde, though. You're the hordes. We explicitly decided against kobolds. Okay. One of the more egregious things, I believe, that has happened in the process of there being just a huge multifaceted number of attacks on trans rights. There's the obvious stuff like, oh, they're trying to make this care illegal for youth. There's egregious things like, oh, you've made it illegal for me to use the bathroom in the state where I was born. Neat. Lots of different fun things like that. The one that I found most egregious, and I remember we covered this when Florida did it, but other states have done it as well, is the state just declaring that gender affirming care isn't real medicine, and therefore we are not going to cover it on Medicaid anymore. So if you're a poor person who's on Medicaid, or a disabled person, but Medicaid is public insurance for poor people or whatever, if you are already reliant on that system, they can just go oh, well, we've decided that your healthcare is not going to be covered because it's for trans-related specific reasons. And then that person probably just can't afford to get on the healthcare, paying the cash price, the no insurance price on the healthcare. Maybe if you're on estrogen pills, you might be able to swing that with a generic pill. But a lot of people don't have access if they don't have insurance. So what do you do? This is a way of functionally making it illegal and kicking a bunch of people off of it, denying a bunch of people care by just saying, nope, it's not real medicine, it's not real healthcare. Obviously that's devastating to a lot of people, and Florida has been getting away with it too. If it weren't for you meddling kids, the courts maybe, well, thankfully the courts are starting to intervene. And this is a bit of good news today, because the Fourth Circuit, which the Fourth Circuit does not include Florida. I believe the Fourth Circuit actually we just covered as well in a case where they declared that a trans girl is allowed to play with the girls and that it would be Title IX discrimination against her to force her to play with the boys. So I think the Fourth Circuit in this case has made a couple of good decisions recently, which is amazing. It does mean that this case is one step closer to the Supreme Court, and we can just hope that the Supreme Court just leaves it alone. But yeah, they've actually ruled in the Fourth Circuit, which includes places like North Carolina and West Virginia, they've ruled that trans people constitute a protected class based on the fact that sex is included in the things that you're not allowed to discriminate on the basis of. It doesn't say gender identity in the law, but it does say sex. So if you were to discriminate against someone based on their diagnosis of gender dysphoria, that is discrimination based on gender identity and sex. The ruling is in response to some state laws and policies in North Carolina and West Virginia which were preventing trans people on state plans or Medicaid from obtaining coverage for gender-affirming care. The lower courts found that these exclusions are unconstitutional. So, final ruling from the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals declares trans exclusions are, quote, obviously discriminatory and were, quote, in violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution, which upholds lower court rulings that bar the discriminatory exclusions. So, the 14th Amendment is kind of saving our asses over and over again, because there's the Equal Protection Clause, which basically just states you cannot treat people differently under the law. So if this medicine is allowable for people who are cisgender for cisgender-related reasons, let's say a cisgender woman wants to go on a testosterone blocking medication because she is developing facial hair, or because it's preventing her from having children, it's affecting her fertility or whatever. That is allowed legally, and it's covered by insurance. So if you were to say to a trans woman who has facial hair and doesn't like it or whatever the other effects of testosterone, you can't deny her without breaking the Equal Protection Clause. yeah, there are so many different reasons why people get this health care. It's not all trans related. And like, yeah, if you say trans people specifically, you're not allowed to get this medicine, or we're not going to have coverage for this. It just is blatantly obvious. And thankfully this, appeals court is like, yeah, it's obviously discriminatory. We need more and more and more and more and more of that precedent, because I'm not totally sure, but I think that all of these different cases are going to be weighed in on the Supreme Court level. Like, do they look? I know that they look at previous precedent that the Supreme Court itself has set. But I wonder if they look like, oh, this particular case from the Fourth Circuit might get appealed up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court might be able to look at like, okay, well, this is how this has been interpreted a lot of different times in a lot of different cases. It seems pretty consistently, we understand across this country that like the only justification I've seen given for denying trans people healthcare or trans kids healthcare is like that it's not rooted in our nation's history, in the same logic that they used for the Dobbs decision to reverse Roe versus Wade, and I think that that's super flimsy when you're looking at the 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. Like, it just seems really obvious, and you have to deliberately ignore the obvious wording of the 14th Amendment in order to justify this type of discrimination. Yeah, I don't know about all this trans ideology healthcare. Very experimental and unproven. Have you even tried conversion therapy? Not rooted in our nation's history was a flimsy justification even in Dobbs. It was just Thomas throwing out some reason to rule the way he did. Oh yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to harp on it in this video because that's not the point of this video, but if you look it up historically, actually, I think I watched like a video essay about this. Abortion is rooted in our nation's history. There are writings from the time talking about, like, describing America as an abortion from the UK. America was the abortion when it comes to the Revolutionary War. But they meant it in a positive way. Abortion was associated with freedom. That's why. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to be free from the British. Like, oh, just like an abortion. It literally is rooted in our nation's history. So it's like the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But again, like, that's not the main point of this. The main point of this is trans care and the fact that we've succeeded here. Okay, I'm skimming, I'm reading a little bit. Oh, they keep doing this. Attorneys for the states argued that the policies were not discriminatory, in fact, because the exclusions for gender-affirming care, quote, apply to everyone, not just transgender people. The majority of the court, however, struck down this claim, pointing to several other cases where such arguments break down, such as same-sex marriage. Oh yeah, this ban applies to everyone. If a straight man, wouldn't be able to marry a man either. Therefore, it's applying the law equally. Like, no, dumbass. Yeah, because the point is that straight people are entirely unaffected by those bans. Yeah, a tax on wearing a kippah would apply to non-Jews and Jews alike, but would only affect the Jews. A ban on same-sex marriage would apply to straight, gay, lesbian, and bisexual people equally, but would only affect gay, lesbian, and bisexual people. A literacy test, only required of people whose ancestors were not allowed to vote before 1866, would apply to everyone, but would only affect Black people. Let's see. Of particular note in the majority opinion was a section that seemed laser targeted toward an eventual Supreme Court decision on discriminatory policies targeting trans people. There was a 1974 ruling which determined that pregnancy discrimination is not inherently sex discrimination because it does not, quote, classify on sex, but rather on pregnancy status. Again, it's like that's the kind of thing that like would only affect women. It would go under the same like, okay, well, the law says the law technically applies to everyone, but it only affects women. Therefore, it has to be sex discrimination. But North Carolina and West Virginia made the argument that gender-affirming care exclusions do not classify or discriminate based on trans status, but rather on a diagnosis of gender dysphoria and treatments to alleviate that dysphoria. The court was unconvinced, the majority was unconvinced, ruling, quote, gender dysphoria is so intimately related to transgender status as to be virtually indistinguishable from it. The excluded treatments aim at addressing incongruity between sex assigned at birth and gender identity, the very heart of transgender status. Yeah, I know that the, high-level trans conversations will say, you don't need dysphoria to be trans. But let's, like, in this instance, just assume that dysphoria means reconciling, like, the difference between what you want to look like and what you do look like, you know? Yeah, anti-sodomy laws aren't discriminatory because it is equally illegal to do butt stuff with your wife. Haha, checkmate. Jeez. But apparently this other court case, the one from 1974, has been cited in other cases, like the 6th and 11th Supreme Court, 6th and 11th Circuit decisions upholding gender-affirming care bans in a handful of states. Aaron has a lot more details in here that I'm not going to go through all of it. But in summary, celebrating this victory, Lambda Legal Counsel and healthcare strategist Omar Gonzalez-Pagan, I can't talk, or Pagan, I don't know, said in a posted statement, quote, the court's decision sends a clear message that gender-affirming care is critical medical care for transgender people and that denying it is harmful and unlawful. We hope this decision makes it clear to policymakers across the country that healthcare decisions belong to patients, their families, and their doctors, not to politicians. We can certainly hope. Yeah, of course, the fear is when one of these cases gets to the Supreme Court, are they going to take up the case? Are they going to, if they do take up the case, are they going to rule for or against trans people? And if they do decide not to take the cases, does that mean that it's just going to depend on where you live? Like that it's going to depend on the circuit appeals court that your state happens to belong to? That's unfortunate. They're setting it up. Like it's, to be totally clear, a lot of these cases are designed to make their way to the Supreme Court. It's the same tactics. Like I said earlier, I find myself using abortion arguments, like using bodily autonomy arguments in this instance, but it just is the same tactics, the anti-abortion stuff and the anti-trans stuff, where they, let's pass a reasonable limitation on trans youth getting access to blah, blah, blah. And then they'll expand that and they'll go, oh, well, actually, we're going to amend it up to age 25 instead of age 18. And they are doing it as a deliberate way of ratcheting up the intensity, because if they've convinced the majority to accept, okay, well, you can't have it until age 18, then it's pretty easy to bump that up. Oh, age 21, actually. Oh, there's new research that actually the brain doesn't start developing until 25. So, you know that more people regret having kids, like significantly more people regret having kids then regret trans affirming care, like gender affirming care, does that mean that we should make it illegal to have children until the age of 25? Like, no, because we don't make laws in society based on regret. Like, this is the only case where we try to do that. And it's not even, it doesn't even really matter the regret. It's just an excuse. They don't actually care about the statistics on regret. Again, this is part of Project 2025. Like, we don't go in depth on it that often, but I want to call attention to it because it's already in motion. They're already, like, they're using trans people as an excuse to take more executive power. They couldn't pass the law in Texas to make getting trans youth healthcare illegal. They tried to pass a law to make it like, oh, you can't get trans healthcare for your kid. It's illegal. But so they couldn't pass the law. So what did they do instead? Well, they used executive powers to change the definition of child abuse to include gender affirming care. Like, if you get your kid gender affirming care, that's child abuse. They can just usurp the process of democracy. They can just sidestep it. And they're using trans people as their justification for it. But that power consolidation doesn't stop there. Yeah, and they offer bounties. They offer bounties for abortion. That was the main thing in Texas. They were like, oh yeah, if you know a person who gets an abortion, we'll offer a bounty. And then yeah, a bounty as well. Like, you'll get $10,000 reward for reporting someone who got their kid gender affirming care, you know? Like, if doctors are mandatory reporters, if you declare that gender affirming care is child abuse, okay, well then every doctor is a mandatory reporter, so no doctor can provide this care. Like, it's a crime, you know? So, yeah. I just want to call attention to, like, the fact that these Supreme Court cases, or like, sorry, these cases that are working their way through the courts, they're designed to make their way to the Supreme Court, and they're going to keep doing messed up things in order to consolidate power and slowly eradicate democracy in such a way that you don't even notice that the democracy is gone. And this is like, whether Trump gets elected or not, it's in motion. Biden is president right now, and Project 2025 is in motion already. So you have to, like, not only vote, but contact your representatives, because sometimes they do listen. We just covered a story earlier where they listen. And you have to, like, start figuring out what you're going to do if you're in a place where it's pretty unsafe. Unfortunately, even if you're in a liberal place, it's not a guarantee that it's going to be safe. We were looking earlier at how pro-Palestine protests at UCLA were getting attacked by Zionist counter-protesters. So it's all relative. It's all relative. You might, you know, be not under political persecution, but you might still be dealing with the makeshift militias going around. So while this is good news in this instance, it is not reason for us to rest. It's not a reason for us to take a breath of relief. It's just one step on the way to the Supreme Court. Yep, look at that. My foot's in the door. Oh, let's go ahead and put that in the notes. Let's do the notes. Notes. Today has been a fun stream. Fourth Circuit win Medicaid. Okay, that's all I need. That's all I need to put in the notes. Over the course of 3 years, 224 people under 18 got top surgery and 54 got bottom surgery. That's, I mean, frankly, that's higher than I expect. I guess in a country with like 300 million people, I guess it makes sense, you know? I don't know that I have a plan for dinner later. I don't think there is one so far. We ended up getting to 108 likes today. Look at that. 108 likes. Tomorrow is leg day, and tomorrow is also getting a tattoo day. So wish me luck. Ooh, I'm gonna be roasting chicken and veggies in the oven. Yum. Yeah, I'm excited to get the new tattoo. Have a Taco Bell Cantina chicken burrito, sponsored by Harry's Razors. I'm getting the Ouroboros tattoo from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I'll pull up a link one last time. And then if you want to see pictures of my actual tattoo, you'll have to go to Patreon. I'm not going to post those on YouTube. And like, there's no way for me to show you my thigh. It's going to be out of frame. Excuse me. It's going to be this guy. This cutie patootie. But probably like maybe this one with like the softer edges. I don't know. Do I want it to have sharp, pointy edges, or would I rather have it like soft edges? I don't know. Still working on the details. I made food earlier because the food talk made me hungry. Yeah. Mashed potatoes on a wrap. Yum. That tattoo is sure to make people envious. Hey, I'm so psyched. I've been thinking about it for like fucking, I don't even know, more than 5 years. Anime tats are based. I know! This is my first like pure nerd tattoo. You know? Like, to be fair, this tattoo is kind of nerdy because it was inspired by Unus Annus. This tattoo is kind of nerdy because it was primarily inspired by Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. But this is the first one that's going to be very obviously like a nerd tattoo as soon as you look at it. Yeah, Snake doing self-love. Snake om-nomming. The pointy boy is cute. Yeah, it's a cutie. And it's gonna be all dark red. Yeah, Snake eating own ass. He eat his own ass. He no scream at own ass. He eat own ass. Oh my god, what a cutie. I'm excited. I mean, it's probably gonna hurt a lot, but again, it's on like, it's gonna be one of my least painful tattoos based on its location, I think. All my other tattoos are in places that obviously hurt a lot. So hopefully this one will be easier. Also, I'm gonna remember to eat beforehand. So I'm gonna get up in the morning. I'm gonna go do leg day, which is the first time I've done leg day since December. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what exercises I'm gonna do to like increase the strength in my posterior chain. And yeah, then maybe I'll take a quick shower, and then I'm gonna get a tattoo. I'm so enthused. A whole different meaning to chasing tail. True. Leg day is best day. Truly, I'm more of an arms person. I'm more of an arms day person. I'll skip leg day before I'll skip arms, but Here's the way to encourage yourself to do leg day. Leg day is actually ass day. So if you want to have a fat ass, think of legs day as ass day. I think ribs, shins, collars, and top of foot are the most painful tattoos. Yeah, those are definitely, like, very painful. One on my wrist, quite painful, right on top of these tiny bones, thin skin. On the inside of my arm over here was pretty painful, like right on the crook of my elbow, basically. And then, yeah, this one is right next to my collarbone up here, so that kind of hurt like a bitch. Ass day deserves its own day. Legs is butt, all right? Legs is butt. Therefore, leg day is butt day. See? Butt is legs. Shoulder is arm. Thanks to Hank Green for that very silly statement. Oh gosh. Well, I gotta get good rest tonight. I gotta make sure that I get good rest and I drink lots of water. And I lotion up my leg to get it all nice and perky and ready. All right. Y'all are getting silly. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope that you all have a good couple of days. And I am planning to see you on Sunday. Happy Beltane. Happy May Day. Thank you very much. I'm glad that I caught that right at the end. Curious Caramel Cookie with the $10 dono. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Everybody who donated today, everybody who hit like all the contributions in chat, even when they're egregious and I refuse to read them. All right. Be good out